gamers, we love Mario Galaxy, don't we? And we certainly do love that fantastic soundtrack, although I've already done that video before, so you can go check that out later. What I have for you in store today are the galaxies themselves. We're going to be ranking all 15 of the main ones today, and I'm going to rank them in the best way I know how. And that is with a tier list. I have all 15 main galaxies here. Let's have a look and see which ones are the good and which ones are the bad. Without further ado, let's get started with the first galaxy of the bunch. Let's go to Good Egg Galaxy. Oh man, look at that, gamers. Doesn't it look gorgeous? Doesn't it look amazing? Oh lord, I do love the way Good Egg Galaxy looks. Are you getting nostalgic already? Now gamers, I'm flanderizing myself, aren't I? I think Good Egg Galaxy had a very hard task to do when it came out all the way back in 2007. It had the impossible task of setting the boundary for what you can expect from Mario Galaxy. Now, as we all know in the modern day, Mario Galaxy is a course clear type 3D Mario, which is something that they never tried before. Sunshine was a bit more of an exploration sandbox kind of thing, and so was Mario 64. So how do you like transition the player between having a familiar hub world that they could traverse and explore to the more level-based, planet-based, mini-challenge kind of gameplay that Mario Galaxy focuses on? I think what they did is quite clever. They had certain galaxies had certain hub areas where you could get used to and really familiarize yourself before you explored the levels at hand. And I mean, Good Egg Galaxy, I think does quite a good job of that. I think you have a rather friendly, neutral planet to start on with, a pipe for your extra curiosity, a couple of enemies to practice your jumping on. We have the underside of the planet, which is raining down with star bits to enable you to pick some extra ones up. And as I said, you go down multiple different paths for whatever adventure lays out in front of you. So let's go through each of them one by one, shall we? Dino Piranha. Ooh.
I think Dino Piranha does an excellent job of starting you off on just the right foot. Not only starting on the aforementioned hub area to get your bearings right, but once you do get going, you start finding exactly what Mario Galaxy is going to be doing for most of its runtime. Jumping from planetoid to planetoid, doing challenges along the way that escalate slowly and vary up the gameplay nicely. It can be an enemy gauntlet you have to survive in order to progress, or it could be collecting star chips while avoiding hazards. I really do think this sort of level design shines when there's a focal point at the end, a build up to a finale, and I think the titular Piranha gets you off on the right foot.
Not the craziest boss, huh? But I think it escalates quite nicely. You crack the egg first, you end up attacking it to start off the fight, and I think that teaches you exactly what to expect from this fight and how to beat it. And then it gets angry. Oh, it's angry. It's so mad. Why so mad? Why? It's on the game. Why you have to be mad? Dino Piranha? I think it's a solid opening gambit, right? I think so. This game is just super My Father Galaxy. Shut up. And I think to keep up this momentum of teaching you how to play the game, Good Egg also teaches you exactly another mechanic too, in a snack of cosmic proportions. One thing I really like about this star as well is that it teaches you about the hungry lumens, those hungry little fat bastards, eh? But also, I'm sure you guys have realized this too, the planets actually loot until you've had enough star bits in order to get the hungry luma on your side. I mean, I think it's a bit unfair if I'm being honest. When he eats food, he explodes into a planet. When I eat food, I just explode. But we get into another decent level. Holy shit, Good Egg Galaxy. What a lovely tutorial. We end up fighting Mr. Caliente. One thing I like about King Caliente is that I think the galaxy, it builds up quite well to the fight itself. You first start off on the friendly planet, then you end up doing a couple of mini challenges, and then as you progress more and more and more, you fight more of Bowser's goons, you know? It slowly ramps up in difficulty, you know? Until you fight all of his minions, his goons. It's a word, Alfonso. It's a word. Guys, it's a word, okay? Once you get to the top of this little thing, you end up going onto the fleet proper, which again, now you get onto King Caliente's goons. Do you wonder if this thing is going to be how you fight King Caliente? I also really like his name. Do you guys really like his name? But as you've learned just 5 minutes ago, he ends up shooting coconuts, which you can whack onto his head. It does get a bit more difficult. He plays a bit of tennis with you, a la Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time, which back then I thought was a weird way to do a boss fight, but I think works quite decently here. His crown falls off as well. How dare you disturb his family vacation? How very rude of me. This boss fight not only is really, really fun, but the escalation to this is also done very well, as we'll see later. It's something that not a lot of the other bosses do quite well, but King Caliente has that in spades. So when it comes to the opening 3 galaxies on Good Egg, you've done a pretty solid job. I wonder if the pranksters are going to ruin this one. So gamers, now we get on to easily the worst kind of galaxy in Mario Galaxy. I'm going to give you a warning, chat. I'm about to slander Mario Galaxy because good Lord knows I do not care for these speedy comets. What they did in Galaxy 2 with them was was amazing. They started you with a small time bank and then made you collect clocks to keep the agency, keep the thrill and the urgency of a lower time bank. Very, very interesting. But in this one, they just give you way too much time. It just becomes very, very, very boring very, very, very quickly. So unfortunately, any galaxy that has a speedy comment is unfortunately gonna, you know, the line goes down, gamers. The line goes down. With 4 minutes, let's have a look. This gamer doesn't really seem like he's, you know, got his gamer license. But even then, this guy finishes with, what, a minute and a half to spare. A minute and a half to spare. Now, you can say, it's the first time it's the first galaxy. Maybe they're going easy on you. That is true, but that doesn't really stop it from being boring. I can understand why it is the way it is. Still boring, though. What are the other comments, which is the purple coins? Now, gamers, the purple coins, they are very, very divisive, and rightfully so. Some of the ones in this game are easily the most fun stars in this entire game, and some of them are blights upon humanity. Let's poll the chat real quick. What do you guys think of purple comments? Do they insist upon themselves? They kind of do. They're extremely hit or miss. They're mids. I like them. I can't lie. Of course you do, Luke. Wait, there are fun ones? We'll talk about those later, trust me. But Good Eggs 1 does a good job of not pissing me off. Because a lot of these are in places that are very easy to spot. A lot of these are very easy to grab, as you can see here. Not a lot of them are in very frustrating places, and as a result, it makes for a galaxy that isn't particularly frustrating. Now, is it particularly fun? I wouldn't say so, but it also isn't annoying. And by purple coin standards, in all honesty, that's all I can ask for. Just don't PMO, okay? Don't PMO. So I'll give this a pass. I'll give this one a very reluctant pass. Overall, I would say I'm probably thinking maybe C+ tier for this. You know, maybe C, you know, considering the later galaxies get so much better. But you know what takes this from a C tier of okay to a C+ tier of, do you know what I like, you good at gamers? Luigi on the roof. There's just something really funny about Luigi getting stuck on this roof. Did he forget that there's no fall damage? Did he forget that you could just jump right off? I don't know, to be honest, but as we all know right here, the way you beat this galaxy, I don't know, in all honesty, Sean, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know how to beat this galaxy normally. All I do is just triple jump, chat with him, and we're gone. And then we move on to the next galaxy. Overall, I don't think it's got enough sauce, personally, for me to put it here. It does do a good job of teaching you all the rules of the game, but I don't think there's anything that really compels me as a return player. So I don't think it's got enough sauce for me to put it in B. But it's also got a bit much about it to not put it in C. So do you know what, gamers? I'll put it in C+. I think it does everything it's supposed to do, but doesn't really have too much for me as a returning player. But for a first-time player, it sets you up on your way for an amazing game that you're about to play. Now, here comes the real question. Good Egg Galaxy got us off to a good start. Does Honeyhive continue the momentum? Why are you smiling like that, huh? What's he looking at, huh? You looking at me? You looking at me? Show us Honey Queen. Let's have a look at Honey Queen. Behave yourselves, sir. Behave yourselves. The legendary Mario Kart character ended up getting its own galaxy. But is it any good, though? I think that Honeyhive, hot take, is a nice step up from Good Egg Galaxy. It does all the stuff that you could expect from early game Galaxy and teaches you new mechanics, but I think it has a bit more about it. It has a bit more sauce, so to speak. So first you start off with B Mario takes flight. I think one thing that Mario Galaxy actually does very, very well compared to his sequel is that it makes all the galaxies feel very cohesive. Now, while that's something I don't particularly, I want to say careful. That's not really something that makes or breaks a video game level for me, but if it's something that you do appreciate, I think Honeyhive has that in spades. So if you talk to this opening guard at the front, he says, all new recruits have to report to the queen. And then the whole galaxy, or the whole star, is you reporting to the queen. You know, I think it has this nice little element of cohesiveness about it, you know. B Mario, oh my god. I love B Mario. B Mario is the best power-up ever. In actuality, I think B Mario is just, it's pretty okay. It's yet another flying power-up to add to the list of many a flying power-up, if I'm being honest. While I'm not particularly married to B Mario, I think it's also pretty cool to... Oh, no, he lost it. Oh, no. Oh, no. Guy, you have to go... No, go back. Go back and get B Mario. No, where's he go? Honey Queen won't like you if you're not dressed like a B Mario. What are you doing here, lad? And these enemies here, I have no idea what they're called, but they'll run away from you when you're normal Mario. They're like, oh, no. Oh, Mario. We gotta run away from Mario. But once you're B Mario, for some reason, they fancy taking you in a fight. They're like, what the hell? They all of a sudden become very aggro, very strange. But again, the game does a good job of teaching you that, along with teaching you that the honey puddles will slow you down. You can step on flowers when you are in B Mario. It does all the chicanery you can expect from an early game Galaxy. But then you get to easily one of the most charming or interesting things in this. Once you ascend the honey wall, you end up talking to the honey queen herself, who, in a literal sense, wants you to scratch her back, and she does in fact scratch yours by giving you the power star in the end. It must suck to have itches when you're a big queen and you don't have the arms to, you know. It's annoying enough when we're humans and there's that, you know, that itch right in the center of your back that you can't reach. It's a bit annoying, isn't it? It's a bit annoying. So having to scratch her back, it doesn't certainly feel good, I imagined. I wouldn't know. Chat, behave yourselves. You're being rather freaky, okay? Behave yourself. It should have been me. Even Zozim, disgusting behavior, chat. But overall, a lovely introduction and a lovely bit of world building to Honeyhive Galaxy. So then, of course, you know, all is not good in Paradise, gamers. There's trouble at the tower, game. The neighbors decide to invade the fucking mandabugs. Now, I'll be honest, guys, there's something quite satisfying about ground pounding an enemy that has a very clear outline on his back to be ground pounded on. Is that something that they evolved to have over time? I'd really like to know what the taxonomy was of the mandabug race, because having a very convenient ground poundable spot was just really, really funny, if I'm being honest. It's just really, really, really funny. But then you meet the most threatening boss, gamers. The most threatening boss of all time. The mandabug stack. Oh no, look at that. It's one enemy, but a second one on top. The loyal member of the Bugaboom army. Can you believe that shit? Mario's quaking in his boots. I'll be honest, I really do like it when video games do that thing where they just take a normal enemy and just make it slightly bigger. Sometimes when they do that, they usually make the boss more threatening. But in this case, they've done absolutely nothing but make it not threatening in the slightest. It's literally just two. It's literally just father and son. Oh, at least he's got some damage in, huh? And he's like, no, my son! You killed my son! Oh, I'm so angry. Oh, I can't believe you've done this. I'm gonna get... And just like son, father is easily one of my favorite enemies in the series just because of how gloriously underwhelming it is. But it serves as a nice little bit of world building, because once you beat the Mandabug platoon, the big guy on campus himself ends up sending himself. He's like, do you know what? If you can't do a job right, I'll do it myself. One thing I find a bit unfortunate about this one is that there isn't as good a build-up to the fight as there was with King Caliente. You do fight a couple of his lower ranked guard over here, but you could just simply jump over them, and then the Honey Queen just simply sends you over to the battlefield, which is a bit unfortunate, if I'm going to be honest. It does tell a nice story, as Moon Ghost Doodle says in the chat. It does tell a nice story, but it's unfortunate that there isn't a lot of galaxy to build up, you know? You would say level 2 was the build up, I suppose, but I would have liked it if this level itself had a bigger build up, you know? But the fight itself, I've seen some people say they don't really like it too much, whereas I think Butterboom is one of the better ones, if you ask me. I like the fact that his fight kind of escalates in an interesting way, you know? If you ground pound him first, he takes flight. And then after you ground pound him again, he takes flight again, but this time drops the boom with the big bad Butterboom. And he also turns his body to the side to avoid you hitting him the right way once again. But yeah, it's quite interesting. I really, really like it. Not only do the levels kind of build up to each other, the fight also builds up too. It's really satisfying. It's really nice. And having to stick on one of these honeycombs, which you've learnt from the galaxy, or does he just, oh, he just straight up flies up, shit. One thing I like to do is I like to latch onto one of the honeycombs and then ground pound him once he passes by. I think that's a bit more interesting. But overall, a really fun set of 3 levels. Are the pranksters going to ruin it though, chat? That's what we got to ask. When one of your pranksters are a cosmic comet, only on this chat, I don't think you can go wrong, can you? There's just something really fun about a race, you know? And Cosmic Mario especially is quite fun to race. I like him. Cosmic Luigi is more my jam, obviously. And also, I like the fact that he also kind of sucks as well. Look, you can see that he's waiting for you. He's waiting for you in this one. In the later ones, he gets a little harder. But in this one, he's just kind of like, oh shit, I gotta pretend to go a little slow, just like you. Oh, is he gonna win? I mean, I hope he wins, but so far, it looks like Cosmic Mario has the edge on Mario here. Mario's lagging behind here. Mario's going for... Oh, he goes for the left-hand path. Is Cosmic Luigi going... Oh, he ends up jumping on. They're basically mirrored for match. Oh, it looks like Cosmic Mario's going to win this. What the hell is Cosmic Mario? Last minute! Holy shit, the last-minute victory, gamers. Mario with the steal. Good lord, that was tense. If that doesn't show you that Cosmic Mario races are cool, I don't know what will. But then, of course, they go and ruin it all by saying something stupid like,
You are
as you guys can see, we've got a bit of division here. We've got a bit of division. Purple Coin's decent. It's one of the mid ones. I like this one. I thought they were all right. Worst one ever made. This is where we get a bit subjective with it. And I really mean that truly. I think while there are some objective elements of design that I absolutely hate in the purple coins, I think it really comes down to how much you like the galaxy in and of itself. Like, for example, with me, I'll give you a bit of a spoiler. Freezeflame is a galaxy I had a lot of fun with. So exploring the Freezy Peak was genuinely really fun. I had a lot of fun exploring each of the area again in order to get the purple coins. And I think with the Honeyhive, personally, if you ask me, I actually didn't mind this one too much. One good thing I liked about this galaxy is that there's a lot of high ground spots for you to reach, which enables you to be able to, I don't know if you use much of the first person camera angle, but like you got a lot of high ground spots so you can see you can scan the area before. There are some purple coins where you don't really get good vantage points to be able to see what's ahead of you, to be able to see what you've missed. And I think Honeyhive offers quite a lot of that. And I think they also do something quite interesting later on as well. I will show you right about here. So as you guys can see, again, a nice little bit of game design. They tease you with a purple coin up there, and once you go get it, which obviously you will, what does the camera do? The camera swings down, so you notice there's a coin there, which causes you to jump down to get it, and then it will lead you to, let's see if this guy does it, which will cause you to want to, oh, is he going to do it? Oh, come on, do it for me, brother. Do it for me, brother. I don't want to skip ahead. Oh, come on. Come on. Is he gives up? No, he gives up. No. Okay, I'll show you with the 3-cam thing. So it takes you down here, basically, right? And then you see where these star bits are? There's purple coins in this line as well. But what ends up being a bit annoying is that if you miss any of the purple coins on this slide, you end up having to go all the way back around, all the way back over, just for another chance to slide this. And as I said, this is one of the objective pain points of purple coins. I think the enjoyment of collecting purple coins is the exploration. Once you find them, I think they should be relatively easy to obtain, unless there's like a consistent platforming challenge around it. In this case, it's just with the sensitivity of how much you slide around, getting these and missing one could be very, very frustrating. It's something that happened to me when I was playing them too. There's also another instance where there's a slide, but this one's a lot shorter. It's this area here. This area also has a couple of purple coins over here, but you can always just jump. This one's kind of short, so going around isn't really too hard. And also, one thing that I also thought was very cheeky, this one here, there is no indication that there is one here. So if you didn't know about this small little lip, you will end up getting 99 out of 100 and just not knowing where this one is. So unlike the other ones where the camera cleverly moves in such a way for you to know where they are, unless you remember that there was a life here, you just wouldn't remember that there's a purple coin here. And this one could easily be the one that takes you 20 minutes to find. But for being the initial exploration-based, no time limit purple coin mission outside of Good Egg, which is more of a tutorial, I think having an instance like this where there's one that's hidden that you might not be able to discover, I think is the very thing that gave purple coin levels its infamous reputation. So I really hope they don't do more of this. I really hope you don't. While Honeyhive's purple coins ones aren't too bad, I think they offer enough good elements like vantage points and camera chicanery. I think there's one too many pain points where I don't really have the best time I could exploring this galaxy, if I'm being honest. Then we get on to the finale, which once again, gamers, can we get an absolute cinema? Can we get an absolute cinema, please, gamers? So once again, Luigi sends you a letter of frustration. Brother, I'm lost. And of course, he's just kind of stuck in a tree again. So once you end up getting B Mario, you just float to this upper area and he's just kind of stuck up a tree, which is just kind of funny for me. I find the Luigi rescue missions to be really, really charming, if I'm being honest. They're really simple. They're not anything to write home about. I just find it really charming that Luigi's kind of stuck up in a tree and you gotta knock him down a bit. I don't know how this happened, but Lord knows it did happen, honestly. I'm gonna say charming, because while it's not anything good on an objective video game front, I just find the idea of Luigi being stuck here on a tree from this one tiny fuck-off little bug really funny. So I give it props for that. So overall, where's Honeyhive gonna go? I think Honeyhive, while it's also kind of got a bit of tutorialitis about it, I think it does a good job of not only being a nice tutorial, but also being decently fun to play around as well. I think the purple coin ones are a bit too annoying for me to play. The Cosmic Comet ends up ramping up a bit. The Luigi one's a bit charming. So I think it deserves its spot in the B tier, if you ask me. It doesn't quite have that edge factor about it, which will take it into the upper tiers, but I'd definitely put it in a high B, I would say. Definitely. There you guys been it. B for Honeyhive. How very convenient of me. How very convenient. It's really good about the purple coins, just drag it down from it. I think a general idea is a test of your knowledge of the area secrets in locations, but some purple coins in hidden areas you'll never check because why would they mentality? Yeah, it's just kind of annoying. I think the ones where they kind of telegraph into you are fine, but nah, not in this case. I agree with B. I think B's good. If Biff agrees with me, then I must be doing something correct. Once we're done with the garden area, we go on to the fountain. And once we go to the fountain, we go to space, junk, galaxy. Oh, he's stuck. The toads are oh, at least they're smiling, huh? Yippee! A space junk has that vibe that has me feeling very nostalgic. That piano sends me to a nostalgic plane that I don't think anyone can describe using words. But we're not talking about the music. We're talking about the galaxy itself. It's minus the OST, exactly. So how do they all stack up? Let's go to the first one, which is Pool Star Path. Now, Pool Star Path, I think, serves as an excellent extended tutorial in how the pool stars actually work. You've seen them before in Good Egg, but these work as this is quite a fun gimmick for you to be able to just pull around planets, you know, to be able to just soar amongst the cosmos, you know. It's a quite nice way to be able to traverse the terrain, which, in fact, if you'd ask me, I think it's one of the rare gimmicks that they introduce that I think it gets explored really, really well. Because I think one of the problems that Galaxy has, or problems if you say, is that they have a bit of roller coaster game design in that they introduce a concept to you, but they don't really expand it very well. But the pool stars, not only did they introduce you here, but I think they make good use of them later in certain sequences too. And while I think this serves an excellent opening tutorial, I think as a level itself, I don't think this one has a lot of source for me to latch onto personally. But I like this appearing block sequence. I certainly hope they use this again later. I quite like this again. It causes you to be a bit cautious with your movements instead of just blindly going on. I wish the whole level was this. It's going to be a sentence I will say multiple times. I wish the whole level was kind of based off this one. Unfortunately, it's only got a short sequence. I will say the atmosphere really adds to this. I think the atmosphere definitely adds to this galaxy, but when you're playing them, when you're analyzing them just for their game design chops, I think Pool Star Path, while it ends very well, ends up just being kind of just okay, if you ask me. But let's get to the next one though. Once we're done with an okay star, we get to Camilla's airship attack. We're gonna take down another woman. Are very sexist of us gamers. Are very sexist. Do you know how I was saying before what I liked about King Caliente that has a nice build up to the fight? Now, you could argue that when I said Bugger-Boom didn't have a nice build-up, you could argue that the second star was a nice build-up to the third and final star. With Camilla's Airship Armada, you just kind of just go there, and it's just kind of a bit... has some cool set pieces like this. Instead of having to swing a coconut, you have to throw a Koopa shell instead. So it teaches you about how you end up defeating Camilla, which is obviously by throwing shells, but it doesn't really do much in and of itself as a level, you know? And I think what also is a bit annoying about the Camilla fight too, is that there's another fight where you fight her, which is just way better, like in almost every way. So having to fight a alpha version of her is just kind of like... So Space Junk is not putting its best foot forward so far, I think it's fair to say. Is Tarantox's Tangled Web going to be the first one I'm like, oh? And I think it's safe to say, gamers, it does the thing that I've been asking to do, which is introduce the gimmick, have a nice build-up, then have me fight the boss. So it gives you that Pool Star Path chicanery that you were used to initially, and then once you're done with this planet, I think, yeah, and it gets introduced to the gimmick at hand, which is the Sling Pots. Okay, be honest with me, chat. I'll just be really, really honest with you. How many of you guys on a second playthrough, I didn't do it the first time, how many of you guys on a second playthrough killed this toad? Because if you guys don't know, you could pull this toad and just send him into the atmosphere, and he just doesn't come back. We have a lot of villains in this community. A lot of villains. You guys should be absolutely ashamed of yourself, honestly. Is my guy gonna do this for us? Let's find out. Is our goat gonna be nice? Hang on. Okay. He was within range. He was within range. But the Sling Pod Galaxy gimmick, the Sling Pod gimmick as a whole, some people might not like, but I think it's quite nice. I think this Galaxy pulls it off quite nicely. Teaches you about it initially, before has you slinging, podding around, and then you get into what I think is quite a solid boss fight. I always thought Tarantox was kind of, no. In fact, I didn't really think about Tarantox much at all. But having played this fight, I actually kind of like it. I actually kind of like Tarantox, you know? I think his gimmick is you have to sling pot into him in order to flip him over. And obviously you gotta watch out for his poison that he spews. I quite like it. It's a simple but effective gimmick, you know? I quite like it. This guy's having a lot of trouble with this, brother. You're supposed to go around, you know, you're supposed to, it's kind of forgettable, but he's all right. I quite like him. I understand that he's maybe not as memorable as some of the other bosses, but I thought his fight was quite charming. Like, design-wise, it was quite nice as well. So I don't know if you guys know, but you know the very last time you have to hit his 3, like, little pods at the back? They give you a generous amount of time, but they also don't like give you like a world of time. Does that make sense? You have to be kind of quick with it in the final bit. But this second bit, they make it a little bit tougher too. Also with these extra things he's spewing too, it's a decent fight. I like it. Oh, can Toad do it? I didn't know that. Toad with the assist? Hey, yo, Toad. My fella, I'm gonna do that next. I'm making sure I do that next time. If there's any Toad haters in chat, you are not in friendly territory. A decently fun fight, if I do say so myself. Think on anymore. I don't think I give Tyranids enough credit when I ranked other bosses. This would be very different if I did it now. In all honesty, bruv, I don't blame you. Like when I first played Tyranids, I was just kind of like, okay, here's another boss. But when I played it, I'm like, do you know what? Good stuff. Honestly, good stuff. I hope they don't ruin it with a Speedy Comet Galaxy. Oh no, they ruined it with a Speedy Comet Galaxy. Oh no. My analysis is the same. They give you too much of a large time bank to make the jeopardy of being underneath the time limit interesting in the slightest. So the graph goes downwards. The graph goes downwards, and I don't think I need to analyze it much more other than that. And then we get to a purple coin mission. Is this one going to suck, or is this one going to be good? It's safe to report that, hey, this one's good. Gamers, round of applause. It took the one section of Space Junk out of the first star that I actually really liked and based up the whole purple coin mission around it. And of course, they did the thing, chat. A small time bank to give you a bit of urgency? Hey, now this is a purple coin archetype mission that I really enjoy. As we saw before, some of them do the large exploration, no time limit, but others do the small time bank under the cosh, you know? And this is one of the first ones to introduce that, and I really, really like this one. I think this one gives you a big enough time bank, considering it's an early game galaxy, to make it doable, but not so much where, you know, you can take your time. I think every time I did it, I was left with about 20 seconds on the clock too. One thing I also really like that might go unnoticed or underappreciated is the fact that further you go, you're not going to have all of the purple coin pods in your field of view. So which means you might have to take some time to go back to reposition to see where they are. So I really, really like that aspect. Not only are you under the cosh, you're gonna have to make sure you memorize all the locations as well to make sure you can path yourself efficiently as possible. Well, also another thing I really like, I didn't even know this when I first played it. Once you get all the purple coins, you'll notice something. The timer keeps going. So not only do you have to kill all of them in a time limit, you also have to make sure you go back too. And with how cautious you end up going in this, it ends up being quite compelling. This guy how much time is he going to have left? Hang on, let's see. He had 35 seconds to spare. He did better than me. I ended up having about 20-15 or so when I played it. So a good purple coin mission. The hidden star in this one is a Hungry Luma one, which the Hungry Luma ones, for me personally, tend to be a bit hit or miss. There's two aspects to a Hungry Luma hidden star, which is one, how fun are the star bits to collect initially, and how fun is the actual Hungry Luma planet in and of itself. Now, I find this one to be quite interesting. When you see the Hungry Luma, you end up traversing this maze. One thing I like is that when the game gives you one last chance to scrounge up a few more before you end up meeting the Hungry Luma, because some of them can get really harsh and are like, hey, if you don't have 50, you're not going to be able to find 50 here, so go piss off. But I like when they give you a little extra chance to be able to scrounge up the last bits you need, you know? And this one offers you a generous amount to collect. Once you end up feeding the hungry bastard, I wonder what happens. I wonder what he transforms into games. I wonder. I really, really wonder. It's shaped like a Yoshi! Triple S tier. Double S tier. Among Us tier. It's Yoshi Circuit. You end up going to a Yoshi-shaped planet, which ends up being a bit of a teaser for Mario Galaxy 2. They knew all along, gamers. The Yoshi was real. They ended up just having to disinfect the planet with Goombas, which is alright, I suppose. One thing I like is that if you jump on them repeatedly, as you saw earlier, the game ends up keeping track of your number. I don't know if you end up getting a life if you step on 8, like you would in a normal Mario game, a 2D Mario game. But it's quite nice, I suppose, and it's okay. It's not my favorite Hungry Luma, but it's okay. It does the job. And I think that's all of the galaxy. Also, that's all the stars that Space Junk has to offer. So overall, I think the issue with Space Junk is while it does maximize on vibes, and I will give it a 100% rating when it comes to vibes, the stars themselves, I think, fall into the tutorial zone. You know, like you get Pool Star Path, which isn't really too interesting initially. You get Camilla, which has an interesting boss fight later, which means this one's just kind of lame, you know? And then, of course, you have the Speedy Comet, which is just... So I think it's a galaxy which, unfortunately, is bogged down, despite its atmosphere and its vibes being absolutely amazing, and its music, too. So while it might seem harsh, I think it ends up being here, if I'm being honest. I think the only reason it's even here is because of the purple coin one, and Tarantox. It's the only reason you're in C+, if you ask me. If it wasn't for those two, I think I'd just leave it here, or maybe even here, if I'm being honest. I'm sorry, but not sorry, Alfonso. And this is probably a B. I love the atmosphere and the tight knit design, but the Camellia design drags it down hard. I don't even feel like it comes from the same galaxy. It just feels a bit weird, innit? It definitely does feel a bit weird. But so far, I will leave you here, and we will move on, gamers. We'll move on to the next one, which is... Oh, it's the one, gamers. It's the one. We're going to say goodbye to the Toads, gamers, because we're going to the Battlerock. Oh, that's actually quite a nice view. Holy shit. I like the Battlerock. Who decided to make a military-ass style complex in the middle of a rock? Luigi spawned by default? Probably not, actually. Oh, he is here. Oh my god, Luigi's here. Yes. And he follows... Oh my god. Is he hitting a dance for us? So Battlerock Barrage. Some might say this is a glorified auto-scroller. And to be honest, I would agree, but not so much with the auto-scroller part, but with the glorified part. I think one of the issues with auto-scrollers, as we can all imagine, is that there isn't really enough jeopardy to justify making the stage automatically scroll and not me being able to go at my own pace. I think they offer enough jeopardy with you with these cannons that fire, and if you try to like go underneath the planet to maybe dodge the fire, you have to contend with these electric spinners all the time, which you do end up having to interact with because there's walls that will disrupt you too. But there's enough jeopardy going on where I'm not having a miserable time here. I'm not having a miserable time. In fact, I might be having a good time here. And also do like that asset piece is kind of cool where you can shoot some star bits out of the cannons there. So overall, pretty neat, I would say. Now, once you jump off the Battlerock's auto-scroller, it requires you to lure a bullet bill over to destroy the cage it's trapped in. This is something that's really innocuous at first, but really adds to Battlerock's theming so well. In a lot of galaxies, getting to the end is all you really need to do to get the start. It might require a spin or two, but once you see it, you get it, you move on with your day. But Battlerock makes you go for that little extra bit for every one of its stars. Of course, it's something you're no stranger to, as even the first star in Good Egg Galaxy makes you fight a boss for the prize at the end. So Battlerock not only makes you fight a boss, it makes you fight a daredevil run of that same boss, lure a bullet bill into a cage, fire yourself out of a cannon, and doing a puzzle that could take you a while if you're one of the 5 people that don't know the trick. If you're one of them, yes, there's a trick to this. Considering the fact that the hidden stars before this were find Luigi, and stomp some Goombas, this puzzle being the way you get the hidden star in this galaxy is definitely a decent step up, even if you do know the solution. The one exception to the rule is the purple coins, where the star is immediately available, but considering the nature of that level, I think it was for the best. It really accentuates just how hostile this galaxy is towards you. And it does a really good job of setting up its cooler older brother in the endgame. It's not something that affects my ranking crazy about, but I thought it was just neat to point out. My problem with this in Dreadnought is that you barely explore the big base. Is that gonna bother me though, as we break into the Battlerock? As I've said before, the main thing that Galaxy does very well is that they do these mini challenges across planets, but this one has a nice interlinking thread with the bombs. As you guys saw, you end up using bombs to break cages in order to progress your forward path. I certainly hope that's a thing that they will expand upon later. I wonder if they will. You have to use a bomb to break a cage, but this time, there's a bit of extra jeopardy with the chain jump. Amazing game. This is game design. Your lessons from space junk are coming in handy here. Look at that. Oh, hang on. Whoops. Oh, is he gonna hit again? Is he? Oh, twice! He got hit with a double whammy explammy, poor guy. This is the kind of thing that Poolstar was missing out on, Poolstar Path, which is a Poolstar section, but there's a lot. Brother, you gotta take it slow. You gotta take it slow, lad. You can't do this in one clean sequence, brother. But I think it really expands on the gimmick of what the bombs do in a way that I find quite interesting, you know. And in the final bit, I quite like too. You end up using a cannon to shoot directly into the star proper, which if you miss, by the way, like if you hit one of these walls, it does send you back to the planet. But if you miss, you go to space. I like breaking into Battlerock. I like it quite a bit. I really hope the next galaxy isn't Top Maniac and the Topman Tribe. Oh no, it's Top Maniac and the Topman Tribe. Oh boy. I do not care for Top Maniac and the Topman Tribe. Do you know what makes this also sad as well? Is that, you know what I said before, in that if you're gonna have a boss, have a nice build-up, then a finale boss fight? The build-up to this fight is actually really, really fun. And also they teach you all the rules you can expect from the Topman Tribe. Firstly, for some reason, there's some Monties here, which by the way, you can look up on Mario Wiki. They're called Monties in this game. They're not called Rocky Wrenches, they're not called Monty Moles. They're just called Monties, and they've got these really cool bandanas. In my headcanon, they're Jamaican, you know? Me bamba! You have this singular Topman. You hit him into the electricity, which causes you to kill him, and then it activates the Luma to open your forward path. A nice way of teaching you how to beat the character. And we're getting a nice 2D section here as well, with a bit of gravity chicanery. I always like it when Galaxy does some 2D sections too. They increase the amount of Topman as well to indicate that you're getting closer and closer and closer. Like a nice little spectacle set piece there. It's just a shame that after all this build-up, the boss fight is just kind kind of okay. But he has a bit of the, what I would call the boom boom in SMB3 syndrome, in that you can kind of end this fight really, really, really quickly. And for all the build-up and spectacle you gave us beforehand, having a fight which is boom boom from SMB3 is just kind of lame. So unfortunately, the final standard star is a bit just kind of, no, you know. I really hope that you have a Luigi Galaxy to, you know, win me back over. Oh my god, it's Luigi! It's Luigi under the saucer gamers. I don't know about you guys, chat, but when I was a kid, I had a bit of difficulty with this one because I didn't know where Luigi was. Like, you get the image, where I'm like, where the fuck are you, Luigi? I never figured it out for the longest time. And it wasn't until I ended up on accident just exploring this underneath bit and finding Luigi. This one took me a while.
She sells seashells on a seashore.
A bit boring since you have to do the whole galaxy again, the whole auto-scroller section again. Maybe it's a bit boring, maybe it's a bit worse than the other Luigi rescues, but I quite like them. It's all vibes. But I really hope you have a fun purple coin mission. Roll the dice. Let's roll the dice, gamers. Does this one have a fun purple coin galaxy? Oh god.
I can't stop winning.
Because you are on a glorified auto-scroller, the jeopardy comes from the fact that if you miss one, tough shit, loser. One thing I do find a bit annoying, though, is that if you do miss one, it's kind of annoying to reset. You know, there's no quick reset button. You literally have to either die or back out the galaxy. That's the one thing I'll give this one. But as a challenge, I really like this one. I really, really like this one. This is one of those instances where an auto-scrolling platform goes really, really slow, but it's to the benefit of the gameplay. Because I think if the platform was moving any faster, it'd be kind of an unfair... Oh, hang on. Does he? Does he do it? Oh, he does it. Oh, he does it. Nice. I quite like this one. It's one of the better ones. I know this one's a bit divisive. The chat is thinking yes, no, yes, no. Even Bowser Dude says no. I don't know, Bowser Dude. I thought you were cool. I thought you were cool and base, but it turns out you were just kind of cringe. You know what's also even cringier?
One!
I think the problem with Daredevil runs in this game, the jeopardy of, oh, you only get one hit or you die, is something that could be kind of interesting. Not for me, though, unfortunately. It's just not for me in a lot of cases. Some of them are good. Top Maniacs one, though, it's still got a bit of boom boom in SMB3 syndrome, unfortunately. Having one hit would ideally make it harder, but it just doesn't, I'm afraid. What, I almost forgot the hidden one, the Hungry Luma one. So you end up going to the Hungry Luma. Getting the star bits is quite fun because you end up getting Rainbow Mario, you kill all the chomps, and by the time you kill all the chomps, you end up having enough star bits. But this one's a bit... I'm gonna be honest, gamers. I'm gonna be honest. The garbage dump one. Now, I think I ranted about this in my Mario Galaxy gimmicks video, but I think this one ends up being a bit annoying on both sides, if I'm being honest. Which is, when you initially play this galaxy, it ends up being quite frustrating because with how long the timers of the bombs are, it ends up being really, really frustrating. You end up having many a sequence where you end up just having one missing, and the bombs of the timers are just long enough where you could just about, there's one more and you have one more bomb, and then it ends up timing out before the bomb explodes.
Please blow up! Oh my god! Oh
No, it's
god!
too far.
This is fucking hard as shit.
Yeah, I think you gotta like perfectly place all the bombs.
But then, of course, you find out the extra bit of lore in that you see these golden bits on the ground here. If you aim one bomb at each of these, you win every time. But as Deep Sea Man aptly puts it, it's either frustrating or boring. I think this is one instance where you're not getting past me. So overall, when it comes to not Space Jam, when it comes to Battlerock, you have a couple of decent galaxies. Battlerock Barrage has been a good start. Breaking into the Battlerock ends up being a nice little challenge run. Top Maniac and the Topman Tribe ends up being a nice level with an underwhelming boss fight. Daredevil is fucking boring as hell. Purple coins are nice and fun, but I think the garbage dump just ends up being just kind of... But overall, there's definitely more good than bad here, and as a result, I'll put you in the B tier. I think I like Honeyhive a bit more, so we'll do that. But I think overall, we'll leave it up there, I think. So once we're done having a Battlerock adventure, it's time, gamers. It's time for Beach Bowl Galaxy. Oh, let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a look. Oh, look at this. Oh, let's meet the guy, gamers. Let's meet the guy. There he is. It's the guy. Yum, yum, yum. There he is, gamers. That's his dad. That's Brad's dad. Oh, might be a little biased because I do like my beach levels, but is the design of this level gonna end up swaying me in a way that isn't just the beach level, therefore? Let's get into it, shall we? So first one is Sunken Treasure. Now, as the first water level you will bump into, it does have to do the Mario Galaxy thing of tutorialization. Now, of course, the question is this a fun tutorial or a kind of boring tutorial? So with Sunken Treasure, actually, I think this is probably one of the best tutorials you could honestly give me. Not only is it a level where there's no real sense of urgency in the gameplay, as we'll see with a later star in the same galaxy, but ends up being a bit freeform, so you can explore the water at your own pace. Now, are the underwater controls a little bit. And also, since they haven't taught you about shell swimming yet, unfortunately, you won't be able to find a shell. Unless there's a hidden one that I don't know about, but you end up having to swim yourself. But I also find the act of finding star chips underwater decently fun. They're hidden in really nice, but not too frustrating places. And I also like the fact that they fake you out with coins in bubbles as well. So you end up seeing a gold thing in the distance. You're like, oh, is that one of them? But then it turns out to be a golden coin. So I like this. It's a small enough area as well where it doesn't end up being that frustrating. So once you're done collecting the star chips, you end up going to the upper section of Beach Bar, which ends up rounding out the level quite simply. A decent tutorial on swimming while also being all right for every other person playing this. But then we get to passing the swim test, which, if you ask me, chat, is a bit too aggressively a tutorial, if you ask me. Now, the conceit with this one is they're doing their final exams, which is bring the shell to the boss. And of course, you end up being a foreign exchange student and ruining everything. So obviously, this one's supposed to teach you about shell swimming, right? Like, you have a shell, you end up swimming fast, so the controls end up being a bit more fluid, a bit more interesting. But when you can just simply go in, spin next to the penguin, and then just leave, as this guy, I imagine, is going to do. Yeah, there it is. And then you end up showing the boss man. It ends up just being a bit aggressively tutorial. But what about the secret undersea cavern? I feel like the first 2 stars end up, teaching about the beach bowl in Beach Bowl Galaxy. I also do think it's very funny how the elder penguin is like, there's a crack in the wall, you better not do anything. And also the penguins are also like, there's a crack in the wall, ooh, I wonder what's gonna happen. You're like, whoa, what the hell? Oh my god, no way. Once you go in here, you end up finding a launch star to... Oh, hang on, this guy's getting destroyed by these bats, shit. But yeah, once you end up finding this undersea cavern, you end up exploring the Cyclone Stone planet. Now, while I understand that Mario Galaxy ends up taking you to, like, different planets as a kind of mini challenges, that's the sort of thing that Galaxy does, this one feels a bit weird to me. This one definitely feels like, what's a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas? Because you spent the last 2 stars teaching us about swimming, both normal swimming and shell swimming. So in my head, I'm thinking, if you go to an undersea cavern, is there like maybe deeper waters for me to explore? No, in fact, the water in this level will straight up kill you if you end up jumping in. So while it's a decent challenge that I quite like, it definitely feels like it doesn't expand upon what Beach Bowl has been teaching you this entire time. Nor does it feel like I've done a bit of exploring in my own right. So obviously the nature of the level is, oh, you end up finding a secret undersea cavern. But the fact that the cavern just leads you to this immediately instead of having to go through a level to end up going to this, it also makes it for a bad sort of exploration level as well. So while it ends up being a decent level, I think as a build-up, which is something that, as we've established, the other galaxies do decently well, especially Honeyhive, it ends up being very, very out of place. Very, very out of place indeed. This definitely feels like a Hungry Luma star. And the fact that they also based the Fast Foes galaxy on this as well, also leaves me feeling that way even more. Filler star. It definitely gives us a filler star vibes. A little bit when it comes to this one. Decently tough when I was a kid, but yeah, definitely a bit of filler. Definitely a bit of filler. But then we get to probably my favorite hidden star in the entire game, because not only does it have a nice build-up, but I also think the challenge itself is really, really fun. You end up having to go back to the secret undersea cavern for this one. One good thing about a secret is that it intrigues you to explore areas that you otherwise wouldn't. This whole star essentially relies on you exploring the water part of Beach Bowl, which leaves the land bit unexplored. So what you'll do naturally when you find out this is where the hidden star is housed is you end up exploring the land portion of this galaxy. So once you do and you really end up exploring quite well, you end up finding a secret chest out of nowhere. So obviously you try and spin it, you're like, what the hell? How do I open this? So you end up using the newly found shells that you've acquired to see if that will bust open, which it does. Not only is it well hidden in an area which you're most likely to explore, but also teaches you about using shells to break open chests, which is something that, if you're curious enough, you'll learn about now. I think they teach it to you later, but if you're curious enough, you're a curious soul, you end up learning about this a lot earlier than you're supposed to. And now, speaking about learning things a lot earlier than you're supposed to, you end up finding a power-up you're supposed to see later a lot earlier than you used to as well, as another reward. Now, is it fair to say, chat, this is probably my favorite sequence in a level, because you have easily one of my favorite enemies in the entire Mario series, the Cataquacks. I've been shitposting about this video a lot, but if I ever make a top 10 Mario enemies of all time, Cataquacks are going to be on there. I'll spoil that for you right now. So you end up leading the cat. Oh no, he's dead. He killed him. No. But having a non-lethal enemy that you end up having to guide to a certain area to explore the forward path ahead is a kind of game design philosophy that I quite like. I wish more games had more enemy types of this. So you end up using the Cataquack to fling yourself into Ice Mario. Ice Mario! Oh my god! You know, they have cool waterfall jumping, which is just really neat. I really hope this isn't the only cool instance of using waterfalls to wall jump with Ice Mario. I really hope. Spoiler alert, they don't do it again. You do Cataquacks, you do Ice Mario, so how about you have to use Ice Mario to build a path to use the Cataquack to get the star? And also you have the icicles that can break your path and ruin the path you're building. What an absolutely cinematic sequence that I really fucking love. Normally when I finish a galaxy, I'm like, that was really cool. I'm ready to move on to the next one. This is the one time I'm like, fuck you. Can I have a whole galaxy of that, please? But you just never did. What a cool star to only give us once and then never again. Purple coins. Gamers, is this one of the good ones? Do we like this one's purple coins? Or do we hate it? Obviously you have the land portion and you have the water portion. One thing I absolutely really like, and if it wasn't for this, the star would have been in the mud. But if you talk to this penguin here, he tells you there are only 5 purple coins underwater. So once you find those 5, you know you never have to touch the water again, which ends up narrowing your band of where you have to explore and makes it far more manageable for you to collect these. You didn't know that? I mean, that's just kind of your own fault. If you don't talk to the NPCs, it's kind of your own fault, I'm gonna be honest. Now, one pain point I will admit is that you end up, unfortunately, having to use the worst power-up ever made in Spring Mario. But you don't really have to use him so much where it ended up really affecting my enjoyment of this galaxy. I do like his implementation in that you use it to climb up these big trees, which I think is really, really nice. And since the underside of the leaves don't have a hitbox, you're gonna just straight up shooting straight up to the top of the trees. I really like it. So this is one of the purple coin missions that I can put in the good pile. I like this one. I like this one quite a bit. So overall, you have a bunch of stars that I like. Some that definitely fall into tutorial syndrome. And if the worst star in this galaxy's biggest crime is you just beat it really quickly and one feels a bit out of place, I think you've done a very, very good job for yourself. So when I put it in A, I'm expecting no one to be angry at me. Otherwise, you're wrong and cringe. That's what I'll tell you. You're wrong and cringe, and I win the debate. Debate bros, we have won. Luigi! Luigi again. Mario!
Hello, Mario.
Ghostly Galaxy. What do we think of Ghostly Galaxy gamers? We get spooky up in here. And star number 1 takes us to the guy, Luigi. Now, while I have given Luigi the charm pass in every other instance we've seen him, I think this is one where I'm going to be honest, Luigi, you've kind of lost your charm. You've kind of lost your charm a bit. Because while I do think the initial opening star is decent, it's a decent challenge. It introduces the ghostly aspects of Ghostly Galaxy. I think this winding road is also quite funny. And also it teaches you how to kill boos, which is something that you don't really get to do a lot in the Mario series. You get the chance to be Boo Mario. One of the coolest power-ups ever made. And they do fuck all with it. Listen, I'm trying to tell the chat not to be freaky, but look at Mario here. Look at him go. Oh shit. You get to go transparent to go across gates. You also end up rizzing up other boos if you bump into them too. Oh my god, look at, oh my god. He's got, you better be careful. Oh my god, he's getting chased. He's trying to kill, no, don't kill, no, Mario, don't get, oh no. Unfortunately, the boo was like, he was catfished. This boo is he's pissed now. And now he's dead. Can we pull one out for the boo gamers? It's just unfortunate, isn't it? It's had the chance to be one of the coolest power-ups. They could have really refined this one to make it really cool, but instead you just end up not really using it for much. I really hope the rest of these end up winning me over. Is a very spooky sprint gonna win me over? You're not being an odd fella. The spooky speedster. So you're after it too, huh? Goggles on gamers, Bravo 6. You're having to use pull stars to gain a lot of momentum, a lot of flow is just really fun. You have these like sling stars as well to gain a bit of extra as a bit of a shortcut. But then you also end up getting to this final sequence with bombs as well. So you have to be careful towards the end. So if it's a close race towards here, then I think you having to slow down a bit might mess up your timing. But overall, I think it's an easy enough race. I don't really have too much trouble with it, but it's still fun nonetheless. If the race is going to be easy, at least be fun. And I thought this race was very fun. We have to beware of a certain fellow. Oh boy. We're not having to beware of Bouldergeist, the best guy ever made. Now, here's the question. While I do like the boss fight, and there's no question about that, do they build up to him nicely? That's the question we have to ask ourselves here. And I think they do a Very strange job, actually. A very strange job. So firstly, they do the Mario Galaxy thing. Once you end up getting into the mansion proper, they end up teaching you about the black boos. Now, here's the difference with the black boos. They'll get freaky regardless. Your standard boo will just end up closing his eyes when you look at him. A lot of social anxiety. The black boos have none of this. They'll chase you regardless. But once you do the one move that you're used to doing, you turn his freak against him and they're like swinging him over your head and exploding in fiery passion. It's beautiful. I quite like it. But oddly enough, if you guys don't remember, a lot of the rest of the galaxy doesn't end up using bomb boos, oddly enough. They'll teach you about him for the Boulder Guys fight later. A lot of Star later doesn't. It ends up using sling pods, oddly enough, which I thought was very strange. When I was like expecting, you know, bomb boo sequences, blowing stuff up for the rest of the level, and then you get to Boulder Guys fight. But no, it's just a lot of sling pods. There's a lot of sling pods, which I'm not against because you haven't really used sling pods for a while here. So I'm okay with them mixing it up. But it's just a shame that they introduced one of the coolest mechanics and they don't let you end up, you know, exploring that a bit more until the boss fight at the end. I think there's one more instance where you see a Bombu. Look, you see one here, but like he's just inconsequential. He's just kind of there. Or two of them are just kind of there. It just to remind you of the mechanic. They're like, oh, remember Bombus? Remember Bombus? Remember them? But then the rest of it is just nothing to do. It's more sling pods. A very odd choice if you ask me. I would have liked it if you expanded on the Bombu concept a bit more. Maybe you had a bit more level design geared towards that. But what they had to do was they had to sell me on it proper in the boss fight that this ends up leading into. And boy, did they do that in spades, gamers. They did that in spades. I think the Boulder Guys fight, I think, is a very cold take. It's easily one of my favorite fights in the Mario series. I just really like his design. His name is also kind of cool. He makes one of the coolest sound effects ever made. But also, he has a couple of things that I think make for a really, really fun boss fight. Firstly, he ends up flinging rocks at you. And of course, if you find the black ones, they have Bombus, which you can swing around to do some damage. I also think just the idea of like swinging it around and like having to position the Bombu in such a way when you're swinging it over your head to make sure you hit him proper is just, there's something really, really satisfying about that. You can, if you're good enough, you can get ahead of the game a little. So if you guys don't know, you can use star bits to blow up the black rocks early to be able to speed up this fight a bit earlier than you'd like. It also comes into play later as well, because once you end up killing him the first time, he respawns but with hands this time. Oh boy. And of course the idea is you use the Bombus to weaken the hands so you have an opening to attack. But of course if you've done this fight a bit more, you can use the attack sequence he has to skip that aspect entirely. I don't mind bosses being long. Like, I think my example is Frederick. I think Frederick in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze doesn't have a lot of instances where you can skip the fight. You end up having to endure the brunt of the longevity of the fight. But there's also something satisfying about figuring out that you could skip sequences in a boss. That's just really, really fun. Once he does his hand slam attack, I'm sure all of us have figured it out, you can use it as an opportunity to get a swing in without his hands blocking the way, which ends up being a very, very fun way to speed up the fight. It's not as a fight just well designed, expanding upon the thing they taught you about earlier, but it also has a bit of things for a returning player in that you can kind of just skip ahead if you're smart enough, you know? And of course, if you're not quick enough, the hands respawn, which I actually didn't know, to be honest, until I did this fight myself. So, interesting. If you haven't mastered the mechanics, it ends up being a bit punishing too. So overall, just a really, really, really fun fight. And I enjoy it a lot, me. I enjoy it a lot, which is a very cold take, but the correct take. Now, the standard 3 stars. They've done an amazing job, chat. Are the prankster comments going to end up being interesting? Now, of course, in this one, you also have a daredevil comment. You get a singular fight with Boulder Guys, but with only 1 life. Now, what I found in this one, again, with the daredevil ones, you want the fight to be at least difficult enough where having 1 life is enough of a anxiety tool to make the fight interesting. And I think when you consider the Bombus chasing after you, the spikes they can throw, the various attacks he has, while the fight isn't particularly hard, it does have enough about it where if you end up sleeping on the job, I could very much easily see you taking damage, you know? So you have to be as switched on as possible to make sure that you do this one, while it's still relatively easy. I think this is one daredevil comment that was done very, very well. And when we take the other prankster comment into account, it's a purple coin one. Is this one of the good ones, chat? Or is this one of the bad ones? Take a guess. Take a guess, chat. And I think it's safe to report, this does all of the things I like in my purple coins. More than 100 coins, so you don't have to collect every single one of them. Check. A time limit for extra urgency, but a time limit that's also very small. check. Meat on the bone instead of boneless meat, triple check. Flinging around along these pool stars to get as many purple coins as possible. But also there's a bit of jeopardy in the mines as well. So you gotta be careful. Not only is the timer really short, but there's a lot of threats going on here as well. It's well designed, it's very anxious. You got a lot of anxiety, a lot of urgency. But also, since it's relatively short as well, and there's not really too much things you have to do beforehand, if you do end up dying, while it is obviously frustrating, you end up just going straight back into the meat of things. Did you like the pun there? I wrote that pun down, okay? But you laugh. And also, it does the thing of, once you get the star, you still have to go get it. You only had 5 seconds left when I beat this one. I also only had 5 to 10 seconds left when I also beat this too. So they do not give you a lot of time with this one, which is exactly how a purple coin mission should be. Good lord, how is it so easy to get right, but you fuck it up so many times? But then finally you get a pretty interesting hidden star for Mario Galaxy. In terms of the game design, I actually really like this hidden star. Like, the whole floor itself shifts around, which is quite interesting, I would say. So you have to be careful of the ever-shifting floors and use that to collect keys and ascend another area in order to get the star. It's quite a fun level, I would say. I quite like it. They do expand on this later in Matter Splatter Galaxy. I think it's a nice introduction to the gimmick. One thing I don't think that's interesting, though, is the hiddenness of this hidden star. As I said, I think the best aspect of the hidden star is that it's decently hidden well enough for you to enjoy the hunt, but not be frustrating. It doesn't fall into the realm of guess what the developers were thinking. But with this one aspect I kind of like that hidden stars do is that it gives you a small area to explore. So the area up ahead straight up just leads to a launch star, which kind of, you end up using the process of elimination to discover that the hidden star must be on this planet. So the fact that there's this giant glowing rock here makes it a bit more obvious than I'd like, I'd be honest with you, chat. Immediately as soon as you start the level, there's just this big glowing rock to the right. So it's just like, oh, I wonder what's there. Oh, I found the secret, because it's just kind of here, and that's just kind of it, and oh, there's the secret. It doesn't really feel like a well enough earned secret, if you ask me. Especially compared to the Beach Ball one, where they entice you by exploring the area that you aren't supposed to explore with an item that you don't know how the interactions work. That was a good hidden star. But this one is just kind of like a hidden star this way, is this way. So while I do like the level, the hidden aspect of the hidden star mission is kind of ruined a little bit, if you ask me. But overall, it doesn't ruin my overall enjoyment of Ghostly Galaxy. I will say, though, this is what ends up being a bit harsh for me, because while I enjoy basically every star on this, that's my favorite boss in the game, a daredevil run of that boss that ends up being quite interesting too. A hidden star, while not that well hidden, the level itself is decently fun. Purple coin mission to die for. So where's the downside here? It's the Boo one, if I'm being honest, chat. The Boo one just ends up being a bad mark on this galaxy, and it's the reason why I can't put it in S tier, if I'm being honest. I think S tier is reserved for, if you pick a star in this galaxy, I'm having a fun time regardless. And I just think that the underutilization of Boo Mario just ends up leaving a sour enough taste in my mouth. While it's not a bad level, it also doesn't do much to entice me either. But it's definitely an A+. Yeah, definitely an A+ tier. But it doesn't make the Nintendo Masterclass tier for me, because you have to have that stuff about you if you're gonna be S+ in my house. But it does have more than enough to make it to it's the best galaxy so far, I would say. I don't care about that S+ easily. See, this is why I'm the streamer and you are the chatter, okay? Because I am better than you, Mr. Stone. Get out my house. Loser. So once we're not getting spooky with the games, we go to the galaxy that everyone thinks is an overrated flop. Or is that just me? I think it might just be me. Gusty Garden. The real question is it all just music? Or has it actually got some source to the game? Gusty Garden's low-key carried by his music. Low-key, you say? I don't think I would say so. I'm going to be honest. I would say Bunnies in the Wind, I think, serves a pretty solid starting point, if you ask me. I think it teaches you about the initial gimmick of Gusty Garden. Of course, I wish that they expanded on it more, but that's just something Galaxy tends to do. You know, I just kind of like this. You know what I mean? Like the spinning, you get 3 spins and then it goes. Bunnies in the Wind, I think, is the definition of just like, it's just kind of neat. Does it do anything in particular where I'm like, oh, that bit was really fucking good? No, it's just like kind of neat. Someone said this one is vibes maxing. I think this level definitely doesn't beat the vibes maxing allegations. Because you sail through the wind, you have to like kill enemies in order to like activate vines to spin and continue. And then I think it ends on a bunny chase scene which I think this is definitely one of the better ones. I quite like this one because it takes you around this tricky little hedge maze. There's many opportunity to cut some corners and like end the chase early. I really like those. Overall, a solid enough start. It's one of those galaxies which is a nice introduction, but has to continue the momentum. And does the dirty tricks of Major Burrows continue that momentum? I really like it when Mario Galaxy does this. I think it does this so well. You end up seeing these things with a ground pound signal that you've seen before on the Mandibugs, right? So you've seen this symbol before. So obviously you'll intuitively just ground pound on this. And then by doing so, you're most likely going to figure out, oh, the burrowing fellas, their weakness is ground pounding. It stuns them for a bit, and then you can spin them and take them out. And by doing that, it activates the sling star that will take you to the next area. Silent tutorials. Hey, no text box needed on this one. What a lovely way to teach you about the gimmick. And it gives you a couple more planets to attack some more burrows. I think they're just called burrows, aren't they? Mario Wiki in the chat, you can help me with that. You get this planet, which I always forget to go to. Oh, it has this cool sequence as well with an apple. Ground pounding certain marks to get this caterpillar to keep eating apples. Don't know what it's doing here, but it's one of those Mario Galaxy-isms, isn't it? Where it's like, oh, that's kind of neat, isn't it? That's kind of neat. But then you get to the final level as a whole, which is Major Burrows. And you use everything that you've learned to attack Major Burrows, and then he gets annoyed. Now, is this boss fight anything to write home about? Not particularly. It's a Mario boss. They're all fucking easy. But Major Burrows has that charm, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to use the C word, chat. I'm going to do it. I want to use the C word. Because this fight isn't anything too crazy, but I do like the way it escalates. Again, it starts off simple. He gets mad when he's vulnerable. He's not just standing there like an idiot. I think that's one of the things I really, really like about him. But yeah, also, he like fakes you out on the final hit, which I think is quite cool as well. Once you ground pound him once, he comes back for one final attack, which can catch you off guard, as it did with this guy here. But once you know, you just ground pound. And again, I like the fact that he runs away, do you know? Unlike some bosses which just sit there, he runs away at least. He gives you an opportunity to fight a little. I like Major Burrows. He's definitely vibes maxing a little, but I enjoy him. And I also like the fact that I never noticed this before. The bunny's just hiding up here the whole time. We get on to Gusty Garden's Gravity Scramble. Now, I think this star definitely has the, what's a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas issue? Because, like, the same way that Beach Ball had. It's the same with Gusty Garden's Gravity Scramble. Again, you start off with the Gusty Garden gimmick you've known and loved. Shortly after, the level transitions to sets of planets. You're just like, oh, interesting. And I wouldn't really mind that sort of thing. Again, in the case of the Cyclone Stone planet, it was a bit odd, but I quite like that area as a challenge, especially for that point in the game. It's genuinely quite tough and requires you to think a bit more than you normally would for that point in the game. But with this one, I don't think this gimmick is particularly tough, nor do I find it that it expands on itself enough to warrant its stay. So, for example, you get this, the Star Chip section, which is decent enough, I suppose. But then you get to the actual gravity section itself. So I think the issue with this gravity section is it just doesn't last that long. Like, even by Mario Galaxy standards, I'm kind of just left wanting. Think about it, gamers. We have, like, the footage on 3 minutes, 40 seconds. And we've got, I don't know, I'm blocking at the moment, games. Guess how much time of the footage we have left? We only have 1 minute 46 of the footage left, which just goes to show you how short this section is. And I think there's only 4 sections, so you hit this one, you hit like 2 more of those, and the level is just kind of done. It does a good job of introducing the gimmick to you, but before it can even build up, you're just kind of done, and you're like, oh. Cool. And also, Sparky, I honestly, get look at this guy. I feel like this section would have fit better in a later Galaxy. I think it definitely would have, but it's one of those ones that genuinely feels half-baked to me. Very rarely will I call a gimmick in Mario Galaxy half-baked. Again, its biggest crime is that it will leave you wanting, sure, but never do I feel like they're half-baked. Not expanded enough, but not half-baked. This is one where I genuinely do feel like it's half-baked, because before it even gets started, it's over. This is the final section. So obviously now it's the gravity gimmick that you've learned about, but there's cannon fires. You're like, oh, it's escalating. It's building up to something. We're doing stuff. And then you jump up this one here. You jump up that one there. And then it's just over. You see that? It starts to escalate and then it's just kind of over. And I'm like, oh, well, that's a bit of a shame. Not an overall bad mark for Gusty Garden in terms of this 3rd star, but the 3rd star definitely left me wanting a bit more out of this galaxy. And I think the secret star, gives me a bit of those vibes. I really like the secret star. This secret star is probably one of my favorites in the game. As I said before, I like a secret star that gives you enough intrigue to try and find it, but also like is satisfying to get in and of itself. And I think the Golden Chomp fits that bill perfectly, because obviously you have to explore like an entire level to find just like 1 star. exploring such a big area, especially with how Mario Galaxy has launch stars that like send you to areas without any way of going back, it can get a bit frustrating. Sometimes you gotta be like, did I pass the hidden star already? Did I not? But I think it's almost impossible to do star 3 without seeing that golden chomp. So when you see it, you're kind of like, okay, now I know where it is. So it gives you such a small band of area to search for how do you kill this chomp that the answer ends up being right in front of you this whole time. For all 3 of the galaxies, or sorry, all 3 of the stars, there's these question mark coins. So you end up collecting them, and the first 2 times they give you star bits. So you're just like, oh, they give you star bits. But the 3rd time, if you end up collecting it the 3rd time, that's when it gives you Rainbow Mario. I remember when I don't know about you guys, but I remember the first time I got this, I realized it gave me star bits. So when I came back for star 2 and star 3, I didn't bother because I'm like, I don't really want star bits. And I was a bit lost. I'm like, where's this? I know I have to kill this golden chomp. Where is it? But so the answer was just staring at me right in the face. And I think that one of the I think a secret where the answer's right in front of you, just kind of have to look. Those are my favorite kind of secrets. And a narrow band to search with, so the frustration is always on you. And when you do find it, you're just like, oh, that's where it was. It even happened to Alfonso as well. So the fact that it happened to me and him is an indication that it's probably happened to a lot of you. So I find this is one of those secrets that was very satisfying to find out. And getting it itself, I mean, you can't really go wrong with running into enemies as Rainbow Mario. If there's one type of game design that you'll never get wrong in my books, it's just running into things and killing them. You know, I really, really like that. So I think the golden chomp is probably one of my favorite hidden stars, just because of how cheekily hidden the secret is. So I have to give you points for that, Gusty Garden. But the pranksters, gamers, do they continue this momentum with the pranksters? Now, gamers, I have to report to you, they do have a Daredevil comment. Now, unlike Boulder Geist, where I felt like his fight, while it wasn't tough, is hard enough where having to do it in one hit is a bit, okay, you know, I have to be careful. I have to keep my head on the swivel here. With Major Burrows, it doesn't really have as much of a fear factor behind it, which leaves the Daredevil comic kind of wanting. Yeah, as I said, I think the fight is just a little too easy to give you that urge, so that sense of anxiety from having to only do it in one hit, you know, so it doesn't quite have that Boulder Geist factor, so it's definitely a bit of a, well, that was the star of all time. But are the purple coins going to be any good this time? So, you know, again, they're half and half games. Are these ones any good? And it's safe to report, chat, these ones are good. This is one of the good ones. This is one of the good ones for sure. Because they do the things that I like in a purple star mission, which is... Okay, I'm on the clock here. Let's fucking go. It's the hedge maze section from the first star. Now, which can cause a bit of frustration because, like, you're thinking, do I have to collect 100 coins in this giant hedge maze? What if I get lost? The one thing they do to cleverly make sure that you don't end up being too frustrated in the star, but Fieldboard tells you there's actually 150 coins here. So you only have to collect 100 out of 150. While you're on the clock, you're not having to be so precise with your movement where it ends up being frustrating. And I really, really like that. Fieldboard slander, never from me. I love Fieldboard. He's my favorite guy. Jillboard, Fieldboard, or Billboard, chat? Let me know. Who's your go? I tried this star multiple times. I wanted to go for like multiple different approaches. I wanted to go for the collect every purple coin in an area before I move on and just wing it and just keep running. I found both methods to be just as effective as each other. I found the collecting in one spot before moving on to be a bit more. I think I ended up with having 25-30 seconds left, and with the other one I had like 10-15. The time bank isn't so large where it's free. It's large enough to be generous enough without being frustrating. So, you know what? Big fan of this one. So I think overall you have the initial set of 3 stars where 2 of them I'm really enjoying. The third one feels like a bit of a miss. A hidden star that's perfectly cheekily hidden, and a purple coin mission I absolutely adore. So I don't think I'm gonna get, I think I've explained myself well enough. So when I put it up in A tier, the top of A tier, I don't think anyone's gonna, am I gonna get any, oh, who got on, say it, go on, fight me. I'm the king of debates, gamers. Doesn't have that X factor to really make it up there in A plus or S tier, but it definitely is just really solid all around. S for you? The music is carrying, isn't it? It's the fucking music, isn't it? I bet it is. So once we're done with getting Gusty in this garden, we go to a song of fire and ice. Freezeflame. Galaxy. Is it all that it's cracked up to? Yeah, you get Ice Mario. Yeah, you get Fire Mario. But it is actually good. Or is it too busy being a Nepo baby? Let's find out, gamers. Well, firstly, how did they fix the painful ice physics of ice physics? They let you skate. And they give you a nice area to practice as well. I don't know whose idea it was to invent skating. That guy needs an award. That guy needs a raise. That guy needs a good home. That guy needs generational wealth. You took easy, or could have easily been some of the most frustrating movement in the entire game and gave us skating. It's such a small addition that I don't think any of us really appreciate what it is. But good lords, I love the skating in this game, especially the animations. If you do a triple jump while skating, the nice spinning pirouette that Mario does is just really charming. I really, really like the skating. He's so girly pop now, isn't he? So once you are done learning, you get to the freeze part of Freezeflame, which is the freezy peak section of this map, which I feel like is a nice showcase of both ice skating and Ice Mario itself. When it comes to Ice Mario, it feels epic with the music for sure. And I do love the sense of urgency that it's based on a timer. So you have to be like really quick when you want to use it. I don't hate it because I know it gets a lot of hate because it's a timed power up. I don't hate it because it's timed. I don't really think it's as interesting as it could be because yeah, you can skate on ice, which is really cool, but then that's kind of it. You know what I mean? Especially considering we live in a world now, we have a new version of the ice flower where you can throw ice balls and pick up enemies and chuck them into other enemies. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, compared to that, you get an Ice Mario where it's just kind of like, you're okay, I guess. You're okay. I do think his implementation is done pretty okay here, especially for a first level. They want to kind of teach you how it is without getting a bit too crazy with it. And I think it offers 2 sections where you have to make sure you reach them in time in order to ascend to the area up above. I think it serves a decent enough start. So it's anything mind-blowing? I don't really think so. But a decent enough challenge, I would say. Baron Bell, on the other hand, now, let's be clear here. I like the concept of Baron Burr. I like the idea that you're stuck on a lower platform and that you have to get Ice Mario to ascend up, and his whole attack pattern relies on him knocking you off and you having to ascend up again. It continues the theme of ascending up to fight him. I really, really like that. It's just a shame that... Oh, this guy's getting spawn trapped. It's a shame that if you're older than 5... this boss isn't really as compelling as I would like, if I'm being honest. I think rematching him, he was just a bit too easy for my liking. Just like the regular burrs, you simply just ascend, you spin near him, which causes him to lose all his moisture, and then you give him a bit of a kick. And that's just kind of it. As I said, I like the fact that he tries to knock you off. That is quite neat, but doesn't really do much for me personally, as I don't imagine it does a lot of people. Because all you do is, oh, he got knocked off! The first person I've ever seen get knocked off! All you had to do was wall climb back up. You said, whose footage is this? He sends some of his minions out as a fight. It's designed quite well. But why did you jump off? What's happening? But yeah, the footage is definitely sparing Baron Burr's blushes, but it's a lot easier than I would like personally for a boss, even by Mario standards, bearing in mind. Decent level, decently designed boss, but ultimately a fight that I would easily just avoid, if that makes sense. But what about Freezeflame's blistering core? Then we get to the flame part of Freezeflame. I think one of the accusations, one of the addressing the allegations flame part of Freezeflame has had is when it comes to Fire Mario, in that his fireballs are a bit too hard to aim, especially without a reticle. And from playing this galaxy a couple of times, specifically this star a couple of times, I can definitely understand why people say that. I think the aiming, especially when you have to aim at little torches to light them up to progress your forward path, it can sometimes be a little bit annoying, but I wouldn't say it's so much where it affected my enjoyment at all. Never really had any issues. I never had any. The aiming's annoying, but only a small issue. Yeah, I would say. So we're all in relative agreement, I would say. It's fun to get to places without the torches. Oh, definitely. I remember when I replayed this, what's it? Oh, do you see this gate here? How many of you guys just like damage boosted around the gate so you could get to Fire Mario quickly? We all did that. Hands up, guys. Hands up. We all did that, I'm guessing. Yeah, because you could just damage boost around this bit. Once you figure that out, you're like, especially since there's a life mushroom right there, you can just take 2 ticks of damage and you'll be fine. You didn't do that, Alfonso? Mods, kill the mod. Mod on mod violence. But overall, I would say this level mainly rolls around Fire Mario and lighting up torches, which is it the most insane level design? I wouldn't say particularly, but I would say the timer that Fire Mario has on it, which some people don't really like, to be honest, but I would say is easily the most interesting implementation of Fire Mario that I would say Fire Mario has ever had in its entire life. I think one of the issues with Fire Mario, I'd say issues, it's a bit of a fire and forget type power up. Do you like the pun I did there? I didn't have that written down, I just came up with it now. In that you just kind of throw fireballs, you feel super powerful, and that's kind of it. So having that on a timer where not only can you kill enemies, it makes the act of killing enemies a lot more fun because you know you're on a small time limit, but it also gives you the puzzle element of having to figure out what the game wants you to do with it. So I easily think this is the most fun implementation of Fire Mario they've ever made. And it's a shame that they haven't really tried anything more with that, but yeah, that's a conversation for another day. I do like this ending bit. I don't know if you guys remember this ending bit. You have to stand on one of these platforms and aim a fireball. Although with me, I just chuck. I just stand on the platform and I just chuck as fast as I can, if I'm being honest. I just hope it gets it, which it generally does. So overall, I would say I'm having a decently fun time with Freezeflame. Nothing cinematic, but I'm having a decently fun time, I would say. But what about when hot and cold collide, gamers? So we get the freeze, we get the flame. We will talk quite nicely. It's a nice bit of progression, isn't it? And now we get to experience Bofa, gamers. Bofa what? Bofa D's power. It's hot and it's cold. It's yes and it's no. It's in and it's out. It's up and it's down. Is it wrong and is it right, though? Let's find out. So you start off on the usual planet, skating around. And then it introduces the gimmicks you've already known. You have an ice section. You have to avoid the icy water as you've been doing. Later on the underside of the planet, you have Fire Mario, which you have to use to again, it fuses the two gimmicks, which is kind of neat. You get a final section with Ice Mario. So the other section was Fire Mario. It was hot and cold collide, but you had Fire Mario. Now it's hot and cold collide, but you get Ice Mario. From my playing, I didn't really find too much difficulty in making sure I maintained my ice flower while jumping over. Although unlike this guy, I ended up skating. I didn't end up walking. Although I suppose walking is a valid strat too, I suppose. But yeah, I think overall, does this star really have that killing edge for me? Not particularly, but it's just really fun to be able to use both power-ups in a really creative way. Nothing cinema. I'm seeing peak. I'm seeing S tiers in the chat. I just don't agree. I don't think it's got that killing edge for me personally. Do the pranksters change that? Let's have a look at the pranksters, shall we? So we get prankster number 1, a Frosty Cosmic Mario race. Now, personally, I really like this race because of one simple factor. I get to skate, and I really, really like skating. And not only do I like the Cosmic Mario races in this game, I just like skating. I wonder if this guy's gonna do it. Are you gonna do it for me, brother? Oh no. Hang on, is he gonna long jump? Hang on. Oh, what's he doing? It really is Scrimblow Let's... Oh, he's skating! Gamers, he's figured out skating. Round of applause. Oh, come on, is he gonna do it? I have to watch this now, gamers. Last time the race got really tense, didn't it? Oh, we've got Ice Mario skating as well. He's finally figured out how to skate. Oh, he's chased up the Cosmic Mario. Who's walking? Oh, now he's skating too. We've got 2 skating. He gives him a kick there. I don't know if that's a regulation game move right there. Oh, Cosmic Mario ended up going aside to get those star bits, which means that Mario's in front here. And we've got Mario who isn't skating once. I don't know where Mario's going. I think he wants to go back to the top part, but the top part is not inaccessible anymore. Cosmic Mario went to tie his shoelace, unfortunately. Mario's had his shoelace untied. He looked down. Oh, is he going to be able to join us? Is he going to be able to jump across? He jumps. He slows down for some extra momentum. Is Cosmic Mario going to catch it? Oh, easy victory for Mario there. Hey, solid stuff. But yeah, I just really like the skating aspect of this one, so you just couldn't go wrong. But what about the purple coins, though? Again, this is one of those purple coins games. This is one of those no time limit, explore the galaxy type of purple coins. This is going to be really hit or miss. I wasn't really that big on the Honeyhive one. I thought it was okay. The Freezeflame one, I absolutely enjoyed this one. Whether you like one of these no time limit exploration purple coins depends on whether you really like the area at hand you get to explore. And personally, Freezy Peak, I really loved exploring this area. And I think most importantly, at no point did I feel like any of the coins were bullshit. The 2 that could have been, the game accounts for. I'll show you right now. So obviously you have to end up going to the top of the peak at the top, but you get this really satisfying, oh man. Tell me this jump isn't satisfying. Is it annoying if you miss it? Yeah. I think the game gives you more than enough time to be able to adjust your landing, but if you miss, it's entirely your fault. I'm gonna be honest, it's entirely your own fault. Having to long jump and aim it just right to land on these 2 is just brilliant. And the big landing you do there as well. Most importantly, you launch start back, and the camera is perfectly oriented so that if you didn't get these 2, which you are guaranteed to miss because of the way the camera is oriented, it shows you. So your reward for climbing up that Freezy Peak is to get 2 coins that could have been really annoying to find otherwise. So those are the only coins that I would consider a pain point, and I think the game accounts for them perfectly. Other than that, I think if you missed any of the purple coins, it's more or less you not exploring the area as well as you could, if you ask me. And since I love exploring this area a lot, I absolutely love this one. So this is definitely one of my favorite no time limit exploration based purple coin missions. So what we get onto the final one, which is the hidden star. Again, this is one of my favorite hidden stars. This is less, it's got less of that Gusty Garden factor in that the answer's right in front of you the whole time, but more, you're probably most likely to find this one just by playing the game normally, right? Because you find this one up here and then you just, right there, you can see just the edge of a sling star. I think most of us saw this before we even got there. Finding it isn't really particularly hard, although getting to it is really great. I love it because you have to triple jump off of these jet streams here. It's a really satisfying triple jump to pull off, especially when you're under a timer as well. Look at this, boom, boom, but oh, come on. I love that triple jump. One of my favorite triple jumps in the series. It's a movement option that doesn't get utilized a lot, but I love it when it has moments like that. And you get a bit of Fire Mario. Your reward for exploring this area early, if you did find it in the first star, is getting Fire Mario early. Brilliant. And you make good use of it where you have to keep it in order to get rid of these snowmen. But also this summit area is actually decently hard to conquer as well. As I said, you got to keep Fire Mario for portions of it. And the platforming they require is not necessarily easy. Not that hard for a gamer like me. But not necessarily like free, you know, and I really like this little bit. Again, you got rocks falling as well, which you have to avoid as you're going up. Although you can cheekily, I don't know if you guys know, but you can cheekily like backwards jump up here and cheekily skip a little bit if you want. That's what I figured out while I was replaying this Galaxy. But yeah, it offers you a decently fun platforming challenge with an early bit of Fire Mario. I absolutely adore this hidden star. For both the fact that it's hidden and the platforming challenges that it offers too. So overall, you have a nice progression of its first 3 stars with a freeze, the flame, and the freeze flame. And while that didn't win me over too much personally, the Cosmic Mario race, which is really fun. I love Cosmic Mario races plus skating. The purple coin mission being easily the best, no time limit exploration ones, and a hidden star that was both fun to find and had a really compelling platforming challenge. I think without a shadow of a doubt, Freezeflame is going in the Nintendo Masterclass. No doubt. I think the first 3 didn't win me over as much, but with the other 3 stars, it 100% goes into the S tier without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, oh yes, everyone loves me now. Everyone loves me now because the video man agrees with them. I probably would have put this like maybe low A, maybe even here just based on the first 3. I thought they were good, but not really that crazy. I just love the extra 3 stars so much. I absolutely adore them, so 100% goes into S tier. So once we're done going to the best galaxies so far, we end up going to the one gamers on the fucking Dusty Dune Galaxy. This dusty ass motherfucker. This is the one that everyone hates. Everyone hates it. Creeper is trying to get in the video. Top tier galaxy. Desert bias. Look, I like desert levels, therefore this one's good. High B. Boring. Well, if it isn't the Bane, or I mean, if Frying Pan Sam hates it, that means I have to too. When it comes to the Surmus, the analytical lens, do I hate it as much as everyone else does? Let's find out. All the Dusty Dune enjoyers will be pleased to find out that the first star, Soaring Through the Desert Winds, I actually really like this one. It starts off on a oddly strong note, and I want to make it clear, guys. I'm going to give you guys a bit of a fourth wall break here. When I was making this video, this is the galaxy I played first. You had Gusty Garden beforehand. You had Freezeflame beforehand, and then I was going to go into Dusty Dune. I didn't want the highs of the previous 2 galaxies to affect my enjoyment of this one. So this is the one I played first. So when I played this, I went into this as neutral as I possibly could have. And as I said, this first star is genuinely quite fun. Having to soar across the desert plains with these tornadoes. Hey, I actually kind of like this set piece. But also it does that thing that I also kind of like where it has a fun 2D section here as well, where you're being slowed down by the desert. Decent fun there. But also has some of my favorite kinds of platforming. I don't think I talk about this too much. Vertical platforming. I don't know if there's a fancy game design term for it, but it's one of those kind of areas where you have to ascend up, and the punishment for misstepping is having to do your progress again. These sections can be a bit hit or miss. Sometimes vertical sections can be really frustrating, especially if they are a bit too BS. But I feel like this one is fair enough where if you end up as you can see, if you end up misstepping, it's mostly your own fault. And I think the initial section of this vertical section also doesn't punish you too much. It's when you get to this area here, like if you miss the section here, then you're going all the way back down. Do you know what I mean? So I think I really like this this verticality that the game does on this star here. It gets harsher and harsher as you guys in. If you end up dropping it, you end up going all the way down. So these vertical sections are just really fun. I enjoy this a lot. And I think once you're done with this wall jump section, which, hey, I like a bit of wall jumping me. I like a bit of wall jumping. I think that's the end of the galaxy up here. So overall, the first star, pretty fun. I actually had fun on Dusty Dune. Hang on. Surely blasting through the sand continues the momentum, right? Surely it's not just going to be boring. Surely not, right? Surely. That this is the part where it gets absolutely fucking boring. Oh, this is the big gamers. Welcome to the correct opinion with Sir Musty, because every other star from this point onwards is fucking boring, and I do not like it. It starts off really well. I like this section where you're speeding along with the with getting pull star chips. I really like this, but I think the final area where you're in this planet here is just kind of boring, I'm gonna be honest. So you have to go all the way down here, then you have to hit a button, then you have to go all the way back, and also it doesn't help that if you fuck up at any point, you have to go all the way back and do this whole section again. Is it poorly designed? Not particularly. You have the tornadoes that you saw in an earlier galaxy, but some of them actually have rocks, as you can see. You can see all the way at the end. Hey, look, guys. Some of them have rocks, which if you end up wanting to go for them for a little spin, they end up actually doing damage to you. So in terms of design, it's actually not that bad. But in terms of just me playing it, the whole time I was playing it, I just had the straightest, most neutral face possible. Because while it isn't bad objectively, it just pulls the ever-living shit out of me. And also, for some reason, the tornadoes now have googly cartoon eyes. What is this, fucking Rayman 1? So yeah, this is just the falls for the crime of it's just really, really boring. I certainly hope the purple coin mission doesn't have us coming back here again. I really hope. So I have to go through this boring ass area again. But this time if I die, I have to collect 100 of them things again? Wow. Okay.
I bought a property in Egypt, and what they do for you is they give you the property.
Hey, yo, chill the fuck out, yo. You sitting there playing with...
This is one of those sections where there's nothing bad about this objectively. Again, the gravity is at work here. There's either stuff going up, stuff going down, and you kind of have to adjust yourself accordingly. In terms of design, the star is pretty solid. But in terms of keeping me entertained, this is another one where it's just really boring. This section in particular is like the worst offender by a mile. So you have this thing where it raises up, and by it raising up, it shows you where some star chips are. And there's also a chest that you find. So there's kind of a bit of a puzzle solving element. You raise it up, figure out where the star chips are, and you have to raise it down so you can get to the certain height able. Again, game design wise, I like what they did with it. I'm just bored. I'm just bored out of my skull. Do you know what I mean? I'm just bored. I'm just bored the entire time, honestly. There's definitely a watch YouTube videos because you're bored, Galaxy. That's the issue. Like, design wise, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing I can find wrong in an objective sense. This is just really fucking boring to play, and I don't have fun here. Unlike the other desert galaxy in the other game, Mario Galaxy 2, like that had a lot more like faster paced game design to like keep you occupied, and a cool boss in Squizzard. This one doesn't really have much of anything. Exactly as Industrial Cormorant says, if I'm bored the whole time, I'm bored. The iconic Sir Musty line. I hope there isn't a boring speed run where they give you way too much time. It's a boring speed run where they give you way too much time than you need. Therefore, the sense of anxiety and urgency that a timer could give you is completely lost.
I bought a pyramid in Egypt, and what they do for you is give you the pyramid.
Surely the secret. Bullet bill on your back. Oh, is it all the notes? You collect all the notes and you get to it? So it's not even like a well-hidden secret neither, because like you were gonna get the music notes anyway. It's the raising up, lowering thing that they showed you earlier, but instead you have the jeopardy of bullet bills too. Design-wise, this isn't bad. I'm just bored. What about Treasure of the Pyramid, though? It's got a green star, guys. It's got a green star. It's got a green star. It has to be good. It has to be good, guys. It just has to be. I think, is that a Hungry Luma as well? So it's not even that well hidden. It's just a Hungry Luma. And not just any Hungry Luma, mind you. It's one that you're basically always guaranteed to spot while you're doing the second star. Yeah, real hidden secret. And this bit, again, it's got more of the shifting stuff as well, which is far be it from me to sound like the average Sonic fan, but there's way too many gimmicks in this galaxy that just involve waiting or traversing areas that aren't really too interesting. And while I'm not opposed to that generally, I think in this case for me, when it comes to Dusty Dune, it just didn't really do much to engage me. Which is a shame, because in an objective sense, there's nothing wrong with a lot of these stars. It's just what they went for is just generally involves a lot of waiting. And I'm okay, thank you. So while it's definitely not like F tier, because like design wise, it's just not that, it's not terrible. Like if it was terrible in an objective sense and a subjective sense, it'd 100% be F tier. But because it's designed decently well, it's just what it goes for just utterly bores me. I think D is fine. I'm with the majority on this one. This one fucking sucks, bro. This one's so bad. Dusty Dune fans, all two of you, if you were hoping that the Sir Musty's analytical lens would fare differently, finally out the bedroom, all right? We get to the next one. which is Honeyhive 2. What? They made a squeakquel? It's like Joker. Did the Joker really need a sequel? And then you watch it and you're like... So does it do enough to win me over, though? Let's find out. The first one is Star Bunnies on the Hunt. As I mentioned before, it tends to be a bit roller coaster. They'll show you a gimmick, you have a bit of fun with it, but before you can truly sink into its teeth, it's gone, right? So when I see that Honeyhive essentially has a sequel where you get to explore B Mario a bit more, even though B Mario is not one of my favorite power-ups, it's generally quite intriguing. I think the first star does a decent enough job. You're hunting for star chips. I think most of it is just hunting for star chips, really. You get this open area, which is quite decent, I suppose. You hunt some star chips, then you hunt a star bunny. So you initially have a hard time chasing them, and then you'll find that big button. Oh, he's not going to hit it yet. Is he going to get him? Is he going to get him? You're not going to get... You have to hit the button, brother. You have to hit the button. Is he going to... No, that's not... No, you weren't supposed to do... Now you just drop your star bits. The bunny's laughing at you, brother. Is it okay? Yeah, drop your... So you can finally, you know, do your long jumps and stuff, because you can't long jump with B Mario. You figure that out. Okay. Come on. You got this. You have to hit the button. You have to hit... Brother, you have to hit the button. You have to hit the button. Because one of the things I like about this one is that you can... you'll find out that chasing the bunny is actually quite difficult when there's nothing to distract him. So you find the... button. I love this footage so much. So you find the button and it raises up walls that the... Oh, he's trying to knock him with that, isn't it? This isn't my gameplay. Let's see how long is it going to be, gamers? How long is it going to be? Is he going to figure? Go for the button, brother. Go for the button. See, look, he's even leading you around there. You see? There it is. Oh, now we figured it out. So now with the walls up, the bunny doesn't quite know where to go all of the time. So he ends up crashing into some of the walls, which gives you a nice chance to catch him. And of course, since the button is on a timer as well, it's... oh, look, he crashed into that wall there. You see that? Hey, it's quite neat. So it's quite a neat bunny chase in the end. Does this star do anything particular to be memorable? Not particularly. But I would say it's a decent enough star. If the other stars can continue the momentum, then we might be cooking with gas here. We might be. I sure hope that this next galaxy features one of my favorite enemies in the entire Mario series. Easily top 5. But there's no way they'd bring the cat. I love the kinds of enemies where they're kind of threatening in a non-lethal kind of way, right? I love those kinds of enemies. I think every game needs at least 1 or 2 of those enemies. Minecraft has those like mini slimes where if it's a big slime will do damage, but those mini slimes, you can kind of keep them as pets. You're like, oh, hey, little munchkin, you know? That's how I feel about the Catquacks. They're trying to kill you. They're doing their best to kill you. You're just like, oh, how you doing, little fella? How you doing, little fella? So having Catquacks be the main object of progression here is quite nice. I quite like them. You use them to fling up so you can get some extra height with B Mario 2. Come on now, you can't go wrong, gamers. You can't go wrong with this one. You really can't. You use it to traverse planets as well. It's doing the thing that Beach Ball Hidden Star did, where you have to lead them to certain areas to continue your forward progress. Come on now. I'm the Catquacks #1 fan. If you told me I could press a button to delete Mario Sunshine from the Mario timeline, I wouldn't do it. Even though I'm Sunshine's biggest mediumist hater, because that means the existence of Catquacks would be no more, and I certainly wouldn't want that. Yeah, oh my god, this planet here, I think in my notes I called this one the nonsense planet, because what? There's burrows, there's Catquacks, there's Octo, it's got the Jenga tower. This planet has a little bit of everything. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I quite like this one. It's just got Catquacks. I'm gonna be honest, chat. The Catquacks are charming enough on their own, where this level was always going to be fun for me, I'm gonna be honest. The fact that they happen to use them for some pretty cool design set pieces is plays second fiddle, if you ask me. But one star I really like on its design capabilities is this last one. When it rains, it pours. One aspect of B Mario that wasn't really explored as well in Honeyhive, which is why I like the fact that there's a sequel, is the fact that when he gets hit with water, you end up losing the power-up, which I think is a unique way to lose a power-up. So this galaxy kind of explores that a bit more with some platforming chops as well. So you have these clouds that end up raining on you. You can stand on top of them, as you can with B Mario, I think if you're regular Mario, I don't think you can stand on top of them. They just end up disappearing. It also shows you the conceit of this gimmick as well, in that if you step on the flower while being normal Mario, you end up falling, which is a nice way to teach you before you get into the later parts of this galaxy. I don't think this star in particular does anything mind-bending, but again, it expands on the rainy gimmick of this power-up to kind of create an interesting platforming challenge. It brings back the Mandabugs as well. Yeah, I think if you just play this yourself, you'll realize that, oh, it was just a decently fun platforming challenge all around, which caps off with a decent boss, I would say. When I say decent boss, I mean in terms of it's designed quite cleverly, if you ask me. One thing I think there's 2 schools of thoughts when it comes to bosses, right? One is the kind of, I would say Lord Friedrich kind of approach, in that the boss has a very small window to attack him, so you got to survive the longevity of the fight in order to make sure you can make that hit count. And there's the other kind of philosophy to boss design where they're difficult in and of themselves, but they also get, if you're a master, you have enough opportunities to, you know, skip sections or skip cycles to be able to do a bit of early damage to beat the boss early. I think this one falls into the latter camp as well, in that if you still have your B Mario power-up, I don't think this guy even knows, but if you still have your B Mario power-up, you can ignore what the game intends for you to do, which is hit this block and raise the platform so you can reach him, and you just fly straight to him. It is a lot harder than it sounds, especially when he's on his third hit, because he does fire those cannonballs pretty fast, and you will lose your power up because it's water bubbles instead. So I do think it's designed in a way which I quite like it. As a normal fight, I think it works quite well, but I think as a showcase of if you're good enough to keep your power, you can end up, you know, skipping bits of the fight. And even as normal, you don't do purples. Oh, you don't? Oh shit, you can probably just triple jump. That's pretty neat as well, actually. But yeah, I quite like this. This guy's having a lot of difficulty. All in all, just a really fun level, I would say. Each of the stars in Gold Leaf end up getting better and better, I think, as they progress. So what about the pranksters, though? Do the pranksters keep up the momentum game? Oh my god, there's a Cosmic Mario race. Are they the peakest of game design? No, I just like racing things. And I'm a bit of a racer, I would say. I like races. My favorite kind of race? The London Marathon. I'm a big fan of that one. Especially when I'm going to work and the entirety of Tower Bridge is blocked off, so I have to go all the way around. That's my favorite bit about the London Marathon. But all in all, Cosmic Mario. Yeah, I love Cosmic Mario. Hate Cosmic Mario. And I really like Cosmic Mario. So this one works for me. But what about the other one, though? The purple coins in the Woods Gamers. Is this one of the good purple coins? Or is this one of the bad purple coins? Make your predictions, gamers. Is this going to be one of the goats? I would say it's... It has some of the markings of a purple coin level I like, but it doesn't quite hit the highs of those other levels, as you guys are going to see right from the beginning. Oh, we have a timer! Urgency, let's fucking go. But see, the urgency of the timer is also compounded with a unique kind of game set piece. In Gusty Garden, it was you're stuck in a hedge maze, and you kind of have to collect all the coins, but also be cognizant of where you are, so that when you have to go to the beginning, you know where you are, and there's a bit of jeopardy in that. With Space Junk, there's these platforms where they kind of spawn really close to when you're next to them, so you have to be a bit cautious with the approach while also taking time. In Ghosty Galaxy, it's the pull stars and the mechanics of pulling around, making sure you can maneuver around the pull stars while also avoiding the mines, etc, etc. But with this one, it's just a regular platforming challenge, which is really, really linear. While it doesn't fall for the frustrating trappings of other purple coin levels, it also doesn't quite hit the same highs neither. It's just a regular platforming challenge, which is cool. Like, it's not bad, but it also doesn't hit the same creative highs as the other ones do. One thing I do think is quite nice, though, is that as you progress up and up and up, there are bees that will tell you how many coins you should have, which lowers the frustration factor. Also, the time bank they give you isn't really so fine where it causes you to have to be really, really quick. I think they give you a generous enough time bank, so even the time can't be a factor in the enjoyment of this one, because I think the couple of times I played this, I think I was left with like 30-ish seconds. Let's see how long this guy had left. Oh shit, he's about to run out of time. Fuck. He only had about 10 seconds left. Hang on. Is he even going to get into? I mean, I imagine he does. Otherwise, he wouldn't upload this. My go did it with 3 seconds to spare. Get in. This guy's cutting it real close. He likes to do it in one clean sequence, he does. But overall, that one's just kind of good-ish. And that's kind of it, which is a shame. Because like I said, the other ones really hit those high highs. But this one's just kind of... yeah. But what about the big bell on the big tree? Is this a nice... hidden star? So obviously initially when you do the Cataquack mission, you're focused on the Cataquacks and you don't really get to explore this level that much. So obviously that naturally intrigues you into exploring this entire area. And if you do, you end up finding this bubble, which leads to a bell, which you can collect the notes in order to collect the hidden star. So as a secret, I think it's decently well hidden. And when you're actually doing it yourself, I think it's quite interesting. You got to use the Bubble Mario, which ends up, you have to kind of adjust you see this? You see you gotta go fast enough so you don't end up missing all the music notes, but you gotta... It's quite fun. It's quite fun. It's quite fun to find, and it's... Oh, go back, no, don't mess up. Come on, you can do this. You can do this, go. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Hey, did it. So, all in all, I'd say this is one of the... It's not the peakest of secrets, but it's definitely one of the good ones, for sure. So you have a decent set of 3 stars, 2 prankster comets, which one is great because it's cosmic, the other's okay-ish, and a decently fun hidden star. So all in all, I think this is a good time, but doesn't quite hit the highest of highs, I would say. So I'd put it in B. I like the fact that they expanded on the B Mario power up a bit more, and they gave another galaxy to really give it its time to shine. I really, really like that. But I think in terms of it pure design, they didn't really hit those same highs that I'm looking for, especially in a later game Galaxy where you could get a bit more harder, a bit more intricate. I was hoping for a bit more out of Golden Leaf, but still solid. Still solid. I'm enjoying my time here for sure. The Maple Treeway version? Oh my god. Now I have to put it in an A tier, guys. I have to put it in A tier now. Has it got the Jackbox bridge? Has it got the Jackbox bridge? So once we're done going to Honeyhive 2, Electric Boogaloo, it's another beach episode. You're going to bring back themes and you give me another beach themed level? Brother, this should be a slam fucking dunk. Does Sea Slide slide into my DMs? Ew, Sea Shite? Well, I hate this one. Worse than Dusty Dune. But guys, it's a beach level. It has to be good. We're going to go after little gup gamers. Yes! But there's no way they would make the opening Galaxy in the engine room just another extended swimming tutorial. Huh. It kind of... It kind of looks like a... Okay, wait, surely... Hang on. Surely faster than a speeding penguin. Surely this one's fun as well. You got to rate... Hey, now that Guppy's gone, the penguins can have the galaxy to themselves. Surely it's fun, right? And it's not just swim in a shell and you can beat them relatively easily. Guys, I don't... The silver stars of Sea Slide. Surely this wouldn't be a slow, tedious romp using a slow... So you have to use B Mario to climb up the trees. Oh, okay, guys, in this one's defense, right? Guppy's actually here, and he's on the other side of Sea Slide to let you know that there's none there. So at least the galaxy's smart, nice. Here's the stars nice enough to let you know that there's none on the other side, and you just got to explore this area. I don't know what to say, gamers. We've had 2 tutorials and one that's slow as molasses. Guys, come on, hang on. Oh, hang on. I just saw gamers. Underwater cosmic. You can't go wrong with the guy. Come on, Cosmic Mario. We're back, guys. We're back. In other galaxies, you'll notice he purposely slows down to let you get the lead, but in this one, he doesn't really do it that often. So you have to be decently good at shell swimming on this one. What about the purple coin mission? We've had a bunch of good purple coin missions. Surely this isn't the worst one to ever do. Good Lord, have mercy on my soul.
This one is good. Albert, what the hell are you talking about?
I just want to ask you, Albert, what are you smoking? And where can I get some? I would happily say the reason the purple coins have the horrid reputation they do is solely because of this star. This star encapsulates everything wrong with the exploration-based purple coin missions. Because, like, the one thing you don't want them to do is you don't want them to be scattered around quite randomly so that you could easily miss one, right? Because there's nothing more frustrating than 90 out of 100. And you have to go around in a whole loop just looking for one needle in a haystack. There is nothing more frustrating than that. You have B Mario, which I kind of like B Mario. But look how it's just so slow. You have to jump across all of these clouds so slowly. And it's like, if they mixed up the B Mario gaming with like other forms of gaming, it would have been quite neat. You know, like you have B Mario up above, you shell swim down below, but it's Sea Slide Galaxy, which is a loop of water. And yet I don't think there's any purple coins in the water. Whose idea was this? Whose idea was this, honestly? It's like the worst aspects of purple coins with the worst aspects of B Mario all rolled into one. And remember, gamers, if you end up touching the water once, you have to hope that you find a B Mario mushroom somewhere, because none of them are conveniently placed for you as well. I don't think you guys have acknowledged that. If you touch the water at any point, you have to go all the way back and get another B Mario suit so you can do all this shit again. Who's defending this? I'll be honest. Who is defending this star? Is he the worst star of all the This is the worst, single-handedly probably the worst mission in all of 3D Mario. I would be confident and stand on business and say that. I am. You're not real, one pyro noob. There's a reason why you're called noob, brother. There's a reason you're called noob. Because you're not a pro like me. You're actually washed. You're finished. You're done. Just like this fucking star. Surely the hidden one, chat. Surely the hidden one can save it. Surely. It's not just going to be a a Hungry Luma, right? Which I don't mind the Hungry Lumas, but it doesn't really make for an interesting secret, you know? You find the Hungry Luma and you're like, oh, okay, let me just get some star bits and come back to you, you know? It doesn't even have that factor of you had to have collected a certain amount before finding him, so you're gonna have to find out how do you get as many star bits as you can before you find him. This is just, you find him, and then you just roll around until you have enough star bits, and then you go back to him. Hardly very interesting. What about the planet it spawns, though? Surely the planet it spawns has got to be fun. Didn't we see this shit somewhere else? Does anyone get that feeling of deja vu? So you have what? 2 glorified tutorials. I remember we're in the engine room, so you're not getting away with being tutorials. You have easily the worst purple coin mission ever made, to the point where I definitely believe this is the only reason why purple coin missions have a bad rap. You have a hidden star that isn't very hidden, nor is it particularly fun, and it's just one that you've played before. And the silver stars end up being a slow, boring romp across the galaxy. So I don't feel like you guys are going to fight me too much, unless your name is that one pyro noob, in which case, get bent, nerd. I'm just going to leave this here, please, and I'm going to move on. There was nothing more disappointing than playing Seaside Galaxy, going, okay, let's analyze this. Everyone gives this one a bad rap. Let's see if we can make it good. And nothing about it is good in the slightest. You have a Cosmic Mario race and a hidden star that was just Hurry Scurry Galaxy again. Those are your 2 high points. And that's it. I'm okay, thank you. My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined. I'm gonna need something to play with, gamers. I'm gonna need some toys. You're gonna take me to Toys R Us. Let's shut down. You're gonna take me to Build-A-Bear, because it's toy time, gamers. It's toy time. Surely toy time can't be worse than what the fuck we just played. Surely Santa Claus put us on the nice list and gave us plenty of cool toys to play with, right? He gave us this really cool heavy metal Mecha Bowser to play with. Is it one of the cool toys on campus? But a lot of the standard fare when it comes to this just ends up being really, really, really fun. It does the whole gravity thing that Gusty Garden did, but kind of expands on it a bit more. But then you get Spring Mario. Now, I'll be real with you, chat. I went into this wanting to hate Spring Mario, and while I still do think that it's a bad power-up, I don't think it was utilized the worst here. I think they utilized it to a decent enough degree here where I wasn't having a miserable time. This conveyor belt section with the laser guy was a bit annoying, I'll be honest. But overall, I wasn't hating Spring Mario here. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't even think it's because it's well designed. I think it's just because I'm so used to its bullshit. I'm just done to it at this point. I've kind of reached the homeostasis of anger when it comes to Spring Mario. And as a result, I may be able to appreciate a bit more than I used to, because as I said, I think I've even mentioned this before, going vertical with Spring Mario is actually quite fun. It's just when you have to go horizontal and the game demands a bit too much of you, that's when it's annoying. Like that conveyor belt section with the laser fucker, that shit's annoying. Don't do that. Have sections where I need to yump up, you know, like that. Yumping up into the jar. Oh boy, that was Mario in a jar. Once we're out of the jar, we get to Mecha Bowser, who I'm presuming is the one that put us in the jar in the first place. It's like kind of a pseudo boss fight, you know? You end up having to de-mechify this Bowser, having to screw it loose, screw it down in certain places. It ends up being quite a bit of fun, if you ask me. So all in all, I don't think this Toy Time Galaxy star does anything mind-blowing. But it has a bunch of cool set pieces and a bunch of cool ideas, so I'm just like, you know what? I'm intrigued. I'm very, very, very intrigued. Hang on, also, I like the fact that when you beat the Mecha Bowser, I don't want to show you this. I hope there's at least one person. But the fact that these three are kind of close to each other, and this one was all the way back here, as a kid, I made up a story that this guy was like the Jerry of the group, you know? Like, no one wants to hang out with Jerry, you know? Even though they were all like kind of like under siege and they all got fucking kidnapped by the Mecha Bowser, no one likes Jerry still. He's just kind of there. Bro thinks he's on the team. He's definitely not on the team, that's for sure. What about Mario? Do you like Mario, guys? Ooh, Mario meeting Mario. It does the same thing that Toy Time is pretty known for. Again, is there a singular set piece in this level that really wins me over? Not particularly, but it's just solid, fun platforming challenges. But I think the ending bit is quite neat when you end up going to Mario. Oh my god, Mario. We meet Mario meets Mario. I think this is kind of fun, gamers. I sure hope they expand on this with Mario's brother and make it a lot more tough. I sure hope they do that at some point. But having the green bits be platforms that fall off, having the red bits be lava, and having the yellow bits be these spinner platforms that, while you can stand on them multiple times, ends up being a lot risky. I think it's a very fun final bit to end the galaxy on. I think that's what Toy Time has done very well. Like, it has these really cool platforming set pieces, but then ends on a finale bit that leaves a bit more of a memorable tone to it, you know? First you had the Mecha Bowser, now you have the Mario set piece. Toy Time is, all in all, It's kind of got it, games. It's got that hotness about it. I'm gonna be honest. What about bouncing down Cake Lane? Oh, how very delightful. Of course, you start with a train every time. I think Captain Toad's having a lot of fun with this train. I love the various amount of cakes they had in this galaxy. This lemon cake. Well, the cakes are. Oh, a nice little slice of lemon cake here. Oh, a chocolate cake, a little bit of vanilla cake. Which cake would be your cake? Oh, that lemon cake kind of looking zesty though. I like a lemon cake. It's got that lemony zest to it. Or is this orange? It's actually more orange actually. It's more of an orange cake. I've never had an orange cake before. Have you guys had an orange cake before? Oh, I actually really like this set piece with the ice cream. You go to an ice cream section where you can wall jump to the top of the ice cream or the popsicle sticks, or you can climb along them. I always wall jumps, so I've never actually taken the bottom path before, but I quite like that you can choose your path here. You know, going along these lollipops, and also has this ice section where you can skate along quite nicely. Again, firstly, this bit, we have to blow out the candles on the cake. It really does feel like you're bouncing down Cake Lane. Toy Time has a bunch of really cool, small little moments where I'm like, that's actually just kind of neat. It's just really, really kind of neat. I wonder if they're going to have a memorable final area to finish this area on. I wonder if they're going to do that yet again. Another Monty Tanker guy? Oh, shit. Oh, no. But you can't reach him, so you need Spring Mario to reach him. Again, when you use Spring Mario in a vertical setting, it ends up being quite fun and a compelling fight. But also, since his electric balls move quite slow, it's not really a threat to normal Mario, but to Spring Mario, it still ends up being a bit of a threat to you. But overall, I think a decently fun fight to end on. I quite like it. Oh, overrated boss. I can't really say I've ever had anyone speak about the electric shooty Monty guy in Toy Time. I can't really say so, if I'm being honest. So far, we've had like 3 really solid galaxies with some cool set pieces and then a good finale to end it on. I wonder if the other stars are going to keep up the momentum. Are they, guys? So I think there's a section where you end up finding a Hungry Luma. Hungry Luma ones, again, they tend not to be my favorite kind of secrets a lot of the time because, as I've mentioned, you find the hidden Luma and then you could just kind of explore the area for starters and then come back. There's some that they do a bit more interesting things with, but this is not really particularly one of them. But once you end up doing so, you end up going to the Cyclone Stone Planet Mark II. Oh boy. But this time, you end up flipping switches. Oh boy. Decent enough platforming challenge. I guess it feels more in place here than it does in Beach Bowl, but it's all right. It's just kind of... I feel the same way about the other version of this one, which is the Fast Foe version. It's just kind of neat. It's all right. I think it's solid. But I think where the Prankster comments definitely shine is probably one of my favorite stars in the entire game. And gamers, could you believe it? It's a fucking purple coin mission. One of the best stars in this entire game is a purple coin mission. How have they done that? So instead of meeting Mario, you go to the other side where you meet Luigi Mario. And Luigi Mario isn't really fucking around. The lava that you had on Mario is now dark matter, so it ends up just like completely killing you instantly if you touch it, which might sound very harsh actually, but I think it makes perfect use of the fact that, if you guys don't remember, the purple coin missions are post-game. You can never play any of these missions before you've beaten the main game. Someone who's beaten the main game of Mario Galaxy is experienced enough where a tough platforming challenge like this isn't so out of place. And of course, it does the other things I really love in a purple coin mission, in that there's a timer for agency, and they give you more purple coins in the level than you need to actually collect. Combine that with the green platforms that disappear as soon as you touch them, the yellow spinner platforms as well, and the dark matter Luigi green area that will just kill you instantly. And you have a decently fun challenge to collect as many coins as you can, while also avoiding death, because of course once you collect all the coins, you have to go all the way back as well. So it's not a simple case of stepping on platforms in order to get the purple coins. You also have to step on them in such a way where you don't end up stopping your path back to the star. Fantastic, absolutely fantastically well designed, and I have so much fun playing this one. And I think they make very good use of the fact that you, the player, are not going to want to step on a lot of green things, and I'll show you exactly how they do that. They have these pockets of purple coins. I think it's a group of 5 just off the edge there. So if you've mastered the art of jumping and spinning back, which isn't as easy to do than it looks, especially if you're under the cosh, you're on a timer. Or do you want to risk it for those 5 coins? It's 5 extra coins in the bank. That's potentially 5 less platforms you have to step on, but you have to risk death, which is something that someone a little bit more cautious might not want to risk, but it ends up being a wonderful reward too. So end up toying with you the fact that you're going to want to make sure you step on. It ends up getting 3 at least, but getting all 5 is a lot trickier than it looks. It really is. And then being generous enough to give you a life to go for, so you can replay this one without having a game over. Honestly, Design-wise, this one's just fantastic. To play on, I have so much fun doing this. I absolutely adore it. I absolutely adore Luigi's purple coins, and I will happily play this one every single time. So as far as I'm concerned, while the hidden coin mission and the fast foe one might not be anything to write home about if you ask me personally, the standard 3 stars that you get end up being really fun platforming challenges with a cool set piece at the end, and you have easily the best purple coin mission. Toy Time definitely earns its stripes. It certainly does. And as I said, I think the 2 stars being not as good definitely lowers the average a bit, so it won't be hitting the big time here, but I will 100% put it in A+. I absolutely adore playing this one. If you have a galaxy where 2 stars are a bit forgettable-ish to me, I don't think you can be S tier if there's 2 of those. So I don't think it makes it to S, but easily A+. Easily A+ for sure. But after that, we get into the Garden Gamers, where you get into the post-game here. So this is where they can really give you those game design chops that you've been looking for. All the babies have gone to bed. They're over there playing their Temple Run. They're playing their Angry Birds or whatever else was out in 2007. We're in the Dark Gamers. What you know about rolling? Oh boy, Deep Dark Galaxy, huh? What do you think of Deep Dark Galaxy Gamers? In fact, when I replayed Deep Dark Galaxy, I actually didn't know what to think about this galaxy at all. If there was an entire galaxy that I genuinely just forgot existed, it was Deep Dark Galaxy. But was I so wrong for that? Or was I kind of right for that? Let's find out by having a look at the first one, which is the Underground Ghost Ship. One thing I really do like about this galaxy is that the beginning area is actually quite a bit of fun. If you guys see, there's a cannon right there, which if you decide to go for it, there's a fun opening set piece as well, where there's a Rainbow Mario star and a bunch of those Octoroombas on one planet. So you end up putting 2 and 2 together and you're like, oh, well, he just about misses, unfortunately. But you end up putting 2 and 2 together, and you're just like, whoa, okay, kind of fun. We have to use Fire Mario to open the gates here to open up the rest of the galaxy proper, but then you end up exploring underground. It ends up being a part of the mission, which is a bit forgettable, but you find the ghost ship at hand, and then you end up finding her again. You scared Camilla off. You attacked her airship armada. She was disavowed by Bowser, and she wants her revenge in yet another Camilla fight. I think this one just expands on the initial fight by being a bit more tougher. Initially, it starts off as simple as it always was. She ends up throwing fireballs, throwing up shells for you to conveniently attack her. But one thing I really like about this fight is that there's a phase 2. She gets a phase 2, where you fight on a smaller platform, and she calls upon the minions too. And this bit ends up being, well, the fight, well, it's a Mario boss, so it's not particularly hard. But this bit ends up genuinely getting chock-a-blocker points. But the magic Cube is throwing out fireballs, especially with Camilla being able to throw 3 at once sometimes. Sometimes the entire platform could be lit up with fireballs. You kind of have to be a bit careful here. It's not as free as it looks. I think this would be perfect for a Daredevil comet. I wonder if they have a Daredevil comet here. Oh my god, guys. They have a Daredevil comet here. As I said, one of the things you want in a Daredevil comet is for the initial fight to have enough jeopardy. And with Camilla's case, it definitely is, especially the upper section here. It ends up being a decently fun challenge, I would say. So, Camilla, you end up getting the seal of approval when it comes to Daredevil comets, that's for sure. But let's quickly go back to the standard 3-star show with Bubble Blast Off. Now, my problem with Bubble Blast Off is that, so obviously the conceit is there's bubbles. Shocking, right? Shocking stuff. But the thing with the bubbles are they're not really as interesting as the game makes them out to be. As you guys will see, there's some decently fun-ish platforming here, but the whole conceit of Bubble Blast Off is that you have to use bubbles to get to different areas, but they instead just end up being glorified launch stars. You see this bit here? You end up having to jump up and just you launch to a different planet, which is kind of a neat set piece, I suppose, but that's just kind of it, you know? For a post-game galaxy where they could get really interesting and intricate, they don't really exactly do the best job here, you know? I feel like one of the devs just asked their son what would be funny to come up with, and they were like, oh, let's use tennis balls to hit a watermelon, and then you can get the star. But yeah, it's just kind of an okay ending to a rather forgettable star, if you ask me. I'm not to be honest. I mean, I guess it's decently tough because you got to watch out for the shockwaves, I suppose. Well, that was the star of all time. But we find Guppy again. We find a little Gup. Oh, yes, we find a little Gup at the bottom of the ocean. And if anything, chat, I'm going to be honest, I just feel kind of bad for him because we hurried him out of Sea Slide. We find him in Deep Dark, which, if anything, is a galaxy that's perfect for him. It's like deepest dark. He gets to be the big shark on campus. Even he's like, you gotta be kidding me. You want to run me out this lake too? You gotta go through all the rings. So yeah, just as before, it ends up being more swimming. I suppose there's a bit more jeopardy with this one in that there's like mines and stuff. There's actually like things trying to stop you this time. Yeah, it's just kind of okay-ish, I guess. But I'm not being particularly like wooed or rizzed up by Deep Dark Galaxy here. Like, a lot of the stars are just kind of like strange. What about the plunder for the purple coins? Is this going to be one of those good purple coin? We've had so many good purple coin missions. Or is it going to be a slow, no time limit exploration based purple coin mission? It's going to be one of those. I think the frustration factor with this, unlike with the beach bowl, they don't tell you how many are underwater and how many are above water. They simply just told you that. I feel like a lot of the frustration with this one could have been alleviated, but a lot of the time you don't know whether you fully explored an area, which ends up just being really annoying. And it has a couple of really annoying ones as well, but there's one where you have to like long jump off of the top of the ship. Yeah, this one here, this one all the way at the end here, and I'm just like, it's just one of those annoying ones where if you miss it, you have to go all the way back, and it's like, I thought it's a good coin one. It's exploring, but in a really small area. I like the fact that it's a small enough area where there's no frustration to be had, but it's just not really a fun area to explore, you know? It doesn't really feel like you've collected the purple coins when you have. Like when you go to the bottom and you collect a bunch of them and you're like, have I got them all? Did I miss one? Do I go back down there? So then when you have the problem that some of these have where you end up having 98 out of 100 or 99 out of 100, that's the one thing you don't want in a purple coin mission. You don't want the coins to be so forgettable in locations where you're like, did I explore this area? I'm on 99, where's the last one? You know, it just ends up being annoying. It ends up being really, really annoying. Like, what's it? Gold Leaf had the temerity to tell you how many coins you should have. Beach Ball had the temerity to also tell you how many coins are in a certain area. Without that extra factor to lower the frustration, if you're not already invested in searching an area, it ends up being a bit of a hard sell. With Freezeflame, I really liked exploring Freezeflame. So even if the level wasn't really as intricate with its coin placement, or user-friendly, should I say, with its coin placement, I just liked exploring it a lot. With this one, not only do I not like exploring this area, but I don't even have any like barometers for where I'm going. Like, whenever I see I've got 100 out of 100, I'm just happy to get out of here. Not actively terrible like Dusty Dunes ones are, but definitely not one that I'm waking up out of bed in the morning for, if I'm being honest. Counterpoint, Sea Slide doesn't require you to find undercoins in the water. You're not winning the Sea Slide war. How about I'll be honest with you? This is not boringly slow. Fuck you and your Sea Slide defense, motherfucker. You're not getting past me, all right? You're in enemy territory here, Boris, okay? That's what you are. So with the underground ghost ship, you end up going down and then taking a right, which leaves you to want to explore the area really, really down below. And when you do end up exploring the area down below, you find a shell, you find a bunch of bombs, you put 2 and 2 together, you end up making a big fun explosion, and I think if you swim just close enough, you can see the glint of a launch star there. So I think as a secret, I think this one's decently good to find. I like this one. And as for the level itself, I think Boo in a Box is also quite a fun, small area too. Although I actually didn't... Holy shit. Did you guys know you could do that? You can just skip all of this with just a backwards jump? Oh, I didn't even know that. So the whole conceit is that you change gravity to go slowly around and around and around while this boo is chasing you to end up hitting the light source so you can kill the boo and end up getting a star. But you can just do that. But as a puzzle, it's decently fun. But the fact that you can skip it is a little lame, if you ask me. It's a little bit lame. So you have a hidden star that can be easily cheesed. You have the Camilla fight and the Daredevil one is decently fun. Finding little Guppy and the Bubble Blast stuff is just no. And you have a Purple Coin mission that's also just no. I'm going to be honest, like, Deep Dark is not really winning me over. It's absolutely not winning me over. I don't actively hate it, but I don't actively like it neither. So I think if there was ever a poster child of no strong feelings, Deep Dark is definitely here. It's a galaxy I played in a video game, and I moved on with my life. I certainly hope the next two don't have me feeling the exact same way neither. I really hope that's not the case. Once we're done getting deep and dark with it, we end up actually getting Dreadnought with it, or should I say Battlerock Galaxy 2 with the Dreadnought Galaxy. Does this one do everything that Battlerock does but turns up to 11? Maybe it does. I think this is one of those ones where I think just like with Toy Time, a lot of the level is just really, really fun to play. With Toy Time, though, you also had the added benefit of there just being a really good finale set piece. With Dreadnought, though, I don't necessarily know if it has a super good finale set pieces, at least not that I can remember, at least not that I noted down. But the levels here are just really, really fun. I'm gonna be honest, like they really take into account the fact that this is a post-game galaxy, so they can really turn up the difficulty a bit. You know, I really quite like that. As you can see with even the opening section, it's not exactly a cakewalk, I'll be honest with you. As a kid, I didn't know how to kill these guys. I know you're supposed to spin them, but I didn't know you had to just jump on them after they're vulnerable. I was a bit of an idiot and I didn't figure that out. It took me a painfully long amount of time to figure out they had to step on them after spinning them. But once you do, you get a decently fun 2D section here, honestly. Again, is there anything particularly of note in this? Not really, but you get to do some cool wall jumping here. Kind of neat if you ask me. On a timer as well, so you got to be quite quick with it too. This is like the epitome of Mario Galaxy. Do you know, as I said, that Mario Galaxy does really small planet-based challenges a lot? I think Dreadnought really fits that vibe absolutely to a T. It has some really fun, small platforming challenges for you to do. And they vary up enough, especially since we're in the late game now, they vary up enough where I don't think at any point in this level I was actively bored. Again, you have to use this spring to avoid the cannonballs here. Decently fun. You use it to avoid some spikes down below. Again, a bit of fun. With this one, again, I really like this section too. You're being harassed by bombs, but you also have to use the topman spin to ascend higher and higher and higher. And as you ascend, the platforms get smaller and smaller and smaller, which enables the topman to be able to knock you off easier and easier. You see? So, again, is there anything crazy to make note of here? Not particularly. It's just really fun. Look, again, he got knocked off. You see that? So this is one instance where the topmen are actually being used really effectively. As I said before in Battlerock, they weren't really used as effectively as I'd like, but now they know that you're in the post game, they can turn up the heat a tiny bit, and it's just really, really fun. You could click at any point in this galaxy, on this level in particular, should I say, and there's a set piece where you're having to do some decently tricky platforming. Overall, Infiltrate the Dreadnought definitely gets us off to a very solid start. So what's the next one? It's Dreadnaught's Colossal Cannons. There's one part of this galaxy I absolutely adore. So with this one, you gotta make sure you gotta screw the screw gamers. Are you very good at screwing the screw? And then you get to fucking, what's it? The House of Chain Chomps? You're harassing them in their own home. Oh no. How very mean of us. We're killing them? We're killing all the chomps here. Oh, well, they at least got their revenge at least. I just like the fact that the chomps actually have a doghouse. You know how, I never knew that the chomps were supposed to be like the Mario version of dogs, but this one definitely seals the deal if you didn't really realize that. And a more screwing chicanery here, expanding on the gimmick they taught you earlier, but instead you're being harassed by King Caliente's little fellas, you know? The glorified auto-scroller from Battlerock, but done even tougher now because your platforms will stop and you have to jump to other ones. I can understand some people saying that Dreadnought always felt a little bit forgettable, and I think that's just due to the fact that it's doing Battlerock's thing again, you know? Like, you kind of you played these games before, at least it feels that way. But I think Dreadnought really does take advantage of the fact that it's the penultimate galaxy in the game, or penultimate major galaxy, should I say. So it really makes good use of that with its difficulty, especially with this final bit here. Again, you've got to traverse the platforms with gravity-changing gimmicks too, until you get the start. Man, this one's just fun. This looks more fun than Battlerock. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And then you get the Topman Tribe gamers. Did the Topman Tribe end up being avenged? Because as I've said before in my Battlerock section, I feel like the Topman level was decent. It's just the actual fight was kind of lame, and I feel like it's more of the same-ish here. I think they do a bit more clever things with the Topman here, but I still think as a level, this is one of the weaker ones. This does have my favorite set piece though, which is this Polestar Cannon Ride section. I really like this set piece. I think it... Oh, see you later, mate. I think... Oh, again... I won't blame this guy. I end up doing that a lot. If I'm being honest. You got the mines and the cannons and the pull stars. I really like pull stars as a gimmick, as I've said before. So anything that uses pull stars is immediately going to be a win for me. It's probably my favorite section of any Dreadnought section. I really love this. Again, do it again. Yes, and again. You gotta take it slow. You can't do it in one clean sequence, okay, guys? And with the cannon shots being a lot faster than you think, it ends up making it so that you really have to put your timing correctly. But you also can't just fling yourself all willy-nilly because there's mines to stop you as well. A really clever set piece. And then you get this like wide section with these shockers as well. Decently fun set piece. Probably weaker than the one we had before, but I quite like this one too. And then once again, you get to the Topman bit, which is a bit... The fight is still a bit naff, although it does start off tougher because he starts off immediately with the red Topman instead of the green ones, and the electricity bits are spinning, so it's harder to land a hit on him. But overall, Top Maniac is still just kind of... No. I sure hope they don't have a speedrun of this galaxy. Although, in all fairness, even though this speedrun falls for the classic trap a lot of speedrun galaxies do, which is They give you too big a time bank. The urgency of having to hurry up isn't really as pronounced as you'd like. I think this galaxy is tough enough where I could see someone feasibly running out of time before they reach the Topman tribe, although it never happened to me when I was a kid, and it certainly never happened to me now. I'm just trying to run defense for the speedy comments because I feel like I've been too mean, but I feel like the meanness is 100% justified, if you ask me. It does the same thing as Battlerock, but instead it's Dreadnought, in that you're doing the glorified auto-scroller again, but this time it's a lot tougher, and I really like this one. Again, I think this one is marred by the fact that there's no quick way to restart, which kind of makes this one suck if you end up missing a single coin, but I think the intensity of knowing that you cannot miss a single coin really sells this one to me, and I like this purple coin mission. It's almost like a lot of the purple coin missions are really cool, and the only reason they have a bad rap is because of the fucking sea slime. I sure do hope that they do the exact same thing as Battlerock, in that the hidden star is a fucking another garbage dump level. Oh my god, it's another garbage dump level. And it falls for the exact same trap that the other garbage dump level had, in that once you figure out that all you have to do is aim for the gold bits, the puzzle is completely ruined. Did he just... Hey, yo, what the hell? Suicide bomber strats? I've never seen someone do that before. In the kamikaze finale. Hey, listen, I rate it. I'm gonna be honest. I absolutely rate it. But, of course, I can't really give this any points on game design because the puzzle is frustrating. And then when you find out that all you have to do is aim for the gold chips, the puzzle becomes boring. So it's either frustrating or boring. Same problem as Battlerock did. So, all in all, you have 3 stars that, difficulty-wise, offer a lot of meat to chew on, even if it is kind of capped off with a bit of a boring top maniac fight. Speedrun ends up being as boring as the speedrun is. The purple coin ones are being intense and fun, and the hidden star is just the hidden star again. So all in all, I think Dreadnought is a better Battlerock, but I think it has too many lows to be as high as you might want it, to be honest. So I'm going to put it in... I think the difficulty alone definitely takes up to A tier, I would say. I think it's definitely a solid tier higher, but it falls for the same trappings as Battlerock in some places. But I think, as I said, the difficulty is enough where I'm really enjoying this one. I'm enjoying this one quite a bit, even if it is a bit derivative. So after we're done with all of that, we get onto the final galaxy in the game. The last major one you will be exploring. Melty Molten. Do they end it on a high, or do they end it on a low, gamers? Should we find out? So I think the first one is the Sinking Lava Spire. Oh man, Melty Molten is Super Mario Walking Simulator. Okay, Boris once again trying to get in the video. Whoever's editing this, take him out of the video, kill him. Listen, I love these. I love this little goober. Top 10 Mario enemies, gamers. The Cinders, is that what they're called? Oh, what a cute little name. If there's one type of game design that I think just kind of works for a naturally hard galaxy, it's lava. Lava just ends up being something which is very easy to understand. Instead of dying instantly by not platforming correctly, you end up being launched up in a fiery inferno and taking damage, which I think is very easy to understand as a player, but also makes for very good finale set pieces, you know? I think Melty Molten makes very good use of that. Initially with the initial planet, I think it sets... Oh, jeez, even the fucking smoke, even the smoke is on fire. God damn. Does he go inside the volcano, gamers? I was so excited. He doesn't do it, gamers. But, I mean, it's a cool set piece where you can... There's spirals, there's the fucking... Oh, man, what a cool set piece. But then it leads into one of my favorite sections here with pool stars and molten planets as well. Because if you guys don't know, if you end up hitting any one of these lava fireballs, it will... There's no planets nearby for you to... Oh, shit. There's no planets nearby for you to gravitate towards except the fire planets. If you get hit by one of these fireballs, you end up being gravitated to one of them unless you can pull yourself back into a pool star. So I think this section here ends up being quite fun. It gives you a life mushroom just in case you're having a bit of difficulty. But once again, it does that Mario Galaxy thing of having some pretty compelling mini planetary challenges. With this one, you got to collect star chips and avoid the little cinders as well. Lil Cinders. That sounds like a rapper name, I'm gonna be honest. Ayo, Lil Cinder. So another quite cool set piece before it takes you to the titular lava spire, which, if you didn't know based on the galaxy's name, is in fact sinking, and you have to avoid being part of the lava. So a decent finale bit to end on. It gives you a nice little sense of urgency. It's not too insanely difficult, but also if you're not fast enough, hey, you end up getting hit, which is, I think, it hits the sweet spot of difficulty for me, this sinking lava spire section. So overall, lovely opening gambit by Melty Molten. Can they keep up the momentum? Oh man, Meteor Storm in classic Mario Galaxy fashion, where they tend to tell a nice story as the galaxy progresses. In this one, the story is quite simple. The planet's just being fucking bombarded by meteors. And the whole star kind of revolves around the fact that you're being constantly pelted by fireballs. And you have to be kind of careful. You have to be kind of careful with this one. Oof. So you end up seeing these torches. And, well, you naturally think, oh, is it Fire Mario? Is it Fire Mario? But instead you have to use the little cinder to light up the torches while being rained fire upon too. Come on now. It's those small little bits of game design that I really, really adore in Mario Galaxy. So then what you end up getting taken to a Thwomp planet, which, hey, once again, is being rained by meteors. So you have to be careful. You have to take it slow because of the Thwomps, but slow because of the meteors as well. Another fun little mini planet challenge. And then once again, meteor rain, but this time you have to collect star chips and avoiding those blue flames, which you can't kill as easily as you could with the cinders. They do dissipate eventually because they run out of steam, but you have to be quite careful. Again, it ends up keeping that meteor gimmick throughout the entire galaxy, throughout the entire star. Do you want to traverse through a meteor storm, but on Star Boom Mario? And it's like, I wasn't expecting this to make a comeback, but a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. I for one accept our Star Ball Overlords. Should we just watch? Should we be nosy and just watch? I'm just gonna watch. Let's see how this goes. He's slowly weaving in and out to make sure he stays in. Now he's in the meteor storm here once again. Now he's in the spinner of doom. Is he gonna end up going into one of those sinkholes? Is he gonna end up being putted down like a cue ball to a red ball right there? Is he gonna be going? Oh, he's speeding! He's speeding! Gamers, give him a ticket! Oh, the speed! Oh, it's good. It's good. I like it. I like it a lot. But is he gonna be able to survive the final jump? He's gonna do it again. He's waiting for the big one. He's waiting for the big ball, and he goes for it. Oh, nearly, no. Come on, you can do this. The big jump, he does it. Get in. But I think as Biff Weed alluded to, I really like the fact that it really tests your ability to use Star Ball Mario by tempting you with a life at certain points. I like the fact that you can also take this bit kind of fast if you're feeling very daring. So not only is it a nice return of a decently fun gimmick, but I think it expands on it really well here too, without it being too intrusive as to really encapsulate the star as a whole. I really like this. I think it serves a clever curveball as a finale set piece. Instead of like a Mecha Bowser or a boss, it's a Star Ball. And I really like that. It's really, really fun. We're just doing throwbacks today, games. We're doing throwbacks on top of throwbacks on top of throwbacks. We're throwing it back because we're back with Fiery Dino Piranha. So, of course, it does the usual Melty Molten thing of giving you some decently fun planetary challenges. Especially this one. Oh my god, this bit here. Good lord, how many times did I die on this when I was a kid? I don't know if you guys died on this a lot, but Jesus Christ on a bicycle. This bit was fucking tough, man. I always just kept mistiming everything. And you have to collect star chips as well? Good lord, they're really making good use of the fact that it's a post-game galaxy with this level of chicanery they're dealing with here. I love this little planetary challenge. So many good little planetary challenges here. But then you get to the guy, Fiery Dino Piranha. If there's one thing I love in video games, it's when they take your basic level 1 enemy and introduce him again, but give him the glow up of the century. I think Fiery Dino Piranha showcases that it perfectly. It really, really does. So even right from the rip, before you even crack the egg and start the fight proper, it shows you exactly what's happening in the tail of lights. So you gotta be careful with your timing here. And so it's not just as free as the initial fight was. And of course, he only ends up dissipating the flames once you're out of his range too, as you guys can see. So you got to wait for him to be out of your range. He's got to be in searching mode. Then he ends up unlighting his tail every now and again. You got to time it right. You got to be careful. Oh, this one, he's having tough with this one. Jesus. Oh, he's on him. Oh, shit. So yeah, it makes for quite a fun fight on top of a really fun star. Oh my god. For Looney Tunes at our boss fight. For real. Go on. Oh, there's the hit. So as you guys are going to see now, when he's extra mad, he ends up having a trail behind him, as you can see. So not only is the fight harder to hit him, but you also got to be careful staying too close behind him. Again, it really makes good use of the pinch mode that a lot of the bosses have by making them have an extra sort of deal about them, but also actually making it matter. Like, for example, Major Burrows has that angry pinch mode that he does at the end of his fight, but ultimately the fight doesn't really end up getting a lot harder as a result of it. He fakes you out, sure, but it doesn't end up expanding on the fight. With Dino Piranha, not only does he have that tail thing, but as you can see now, he's spitting fireballs at you. He really wants you dead at this point. He's not giving you any free hits. With the trail of fire behind him, the fireballs being thrown around, and the tail being lit and unlit constantly, it makes for a final hit that's not as easy as it looks. And for the final boss in the standard 3 stars that you're going to find, I think capping off with Fiery Dino Piranha, is it safe to say that other than Boulder Guys, this is like the best boss? You know, second best boss in the game? I don't think that's a crazy shout, is it? Really, really fun, really, really intricate, really, really tough as well. It honestly puts that life mushroom to good. This is like the first time I fought a boss and I felt like I really needed that life mushroom, you know? So, you know what, Fiery Dino Piranha? Pretty fucking good. It's pretty shockingly good. I really wasn't expecting Fiery Dino Piranha to be that good when I went into this galaxy, but he won me over. Just like the Daredevil also won me over. Oh my lord. Now, sadly, I say sadly, but I personally would have loved a Daredevil comic with Fiery Dino Piranha. I understand that would have been insane. I understand it, but I fucking would have loved it. But instead, they give us a Lava Spire Daredevil run, which, while it might, I think this is the only time where they don't do a Daredevil with a boss. Does it work? I would say it absolutely does. I think, as I said before, the jeopardy of touch lava, you get hit, is already compelling enough to make it so that the urgency of a one-hit kill is already insane. But even the smaller enemies, like these little cinders, end up being quite anxious to fight against because they're just like, oh shit, I gotta really be careful here. So the fact that you are on one hit really makes this level shine even brighter than it originally did its original outing. And I think it's also showcased quite nicely with the final Lava Spire bit as a whole. Because whereas before, if you ended up getting caught by the lava, you end up being shot up. But if you end up speeding up enough, you could still outrun the fire. But in this one, if you don't outrun the fire, you're dead. And you have to start all the way back from the beginning, which is that a harsh punishment? You could say so. But again, we're in the final major galaxy here. If there was ever a time for them to turn up the heat, I think it's here. I think it's definitely here. And also the fact that you have to hit the crystal twice, which is something that they do in other galaxies but don't make good effective use of in this one, also adds to the tension in this really small way as well. Oh my god, this Daredevil comic is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And the fact that they didn't use Fiery Dino Piranha because it might have been a bit too frustrating is really, really cool. I absolutely love this Daredevil run so much. Purple coins, though. This one ends up being another one of those no time limit exploration-based ones. But because you're exploring a small area, and because I personally identified no pain point purple coins when I played this one twice over, I think this one ends up being a simple case of, if you like exploring the area, you'll have fun with this one. If you don't, you won't. And guess what? I really like exploring this area. So I really love this one as a whole. I really like this so much. I think of the no exploration ones is probably my second favorite. I think Freezeflame is my favorite, but it's easily my second favorite too. And all of this is capped off with probably my favorite Hungry Luma star in the entire game as well. So as I said before, the one reason I don't like the Hungry Luma stars is because you find them and then you just go, okay, wait right there, boss. You go away a bit, find the star bits, and then you come back. Instead of it being a case of, oh, do you happen to have enough star bits? If so, you can go to a secret path. It's, oh, hey, there's a secret path here. If you want to run around for a bit, you can, or you can do what you originally going to do. It doesn't end up being as compelling as I'd like. With this one, so once you end up doing this, the cool launch star volcano set piece, immediately after is when the Hungry Luma shows itself. So if at that point you happen to have enough star bits, you can do it. It feels like a good reward for you as the player for actually caring about star bits. And since you saw this earlier, you'll know that this is the hidden star and you'll want to be able to collect as much as you can. It does have a few extra ones just in case you missed out on a couple, but it doesn't offer you a lot. If you didn't collect any on the initial volcano planet, you're kind of out of luck, really. So I quite like that. I really like the fact that it's a bit harsh with its requirement, a little bit, not too harsh. I like the fact it's a little bit harsh. And I think the planet itself is a decent challenge. It's nothing to write home about. I think by Melty Molten standards, it's definitely a bit weak, but having to contend with the tide of this lava planet while collecting silver stars, it's good. It's it's a thumbs up, you know? It does the job. So you have, what, 3 standard stars that are absolutely fantastic and offer some really cool planetary mini challenges that Super Mario Galaxy does fantastically, with some curveballs thrown in with the rolling star as well. You have easily the second best, or even the first best boss, if you ask some people, in Fiery Dino Piranha. A purple coin mission that doesn't really have any of the pain points that you'd expect from a purple coin mission. A hidden star that uses Hungry Lumas decently effectively, and a Daredevil comet that subverts expectations in a very clever way. Yeah, if you guys were expecting me not to have this as the best galaxy in the entire game, you are absolutely insane. You are utterly insane. This is easily better than Freezeflame by a notable margin, and is without a shadow of a doubt the best galaxy in the game. You could put me in any of these stars, and I'm going to have a fantastic time on Melty Molten Galaxy. So overall, gamers, when it comes to the 15 major galaxies, that's my rating.
And Lord knows I did not think it was going to be 2.5 hours long. Thank you so much for making it to the end. If you have any agreements or disagreements, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And I'll take this as an opportunity to thank all the glorious members that keep this thing going, starting with the wizards looking oh so wizardous. They love using Flying Mario in particular. And of course the Royal Guards scrolling across the screen now, and the knights in the description. Apologies for the fact that this video took so long to come out. I normally wouldn't apologize for a video being delayed, but a lot of this was just kind of like, definitely due to the fact that maintaining both a part-time job and part-time content creation, it was a lot more of a harder juggle than I thought it was, especially with editing as well. Like there was an edit earlier in the C slide bit where Spongy showed that I had 7k subscribers when I started this. So that should tell you how long it's been. Nearly about a year if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, with all the editors I got on rotation now, and me taking a bit more of a hands-off approach, bigger projects like this shouldn't take nearly as long. I'm going to presume the names are still scrolling because there's one person in particular named Landon who saw what Jelani was doing and gifting a bunch of memberships and was like, I can do one better. And I think decided to gift like 200. There's literally 200 more names I got to put on the screen. Some real generous people, huh? So I'll take this as an opportunity to just talk about the things I've been doing. Obviously, to follow up on this, I'm going to do the single star galaxies or the minor galaxies. I've already started taking some basic notes for that, so that shouldn't take nearly as long as this. That's for damn sure. But other than that, in my own time, I've been playing a lot of Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance. I'm currently on, I actually don't know what chapter I'm at. I'm at the place where you go to a forest without spoiling anything. I'm definitely quite a tad's way into the game, and I'm really enjoying it. Genuinely, it is a lot of fun to be playing Fire Emblem again. Last one I played was, I don't know, like Awakening, like 5 years ago now, I think, like more than that. So it's been, especially with the new one, Fortune's Weave, that isn't out as of now, but is going to come out soon. Very excited to give that a try after playing this. Me and my fiance started Split Fiction. We're going to continue on that as well. That's been quite a bit of fun so far. Those like co-op multiplayer like games are just like really fun, honestly. I don't know why Haze like came up with the idea of this sort of genre of game, but I'm a big fan, such a big fan of this genre, and I wish more studios kind of copied their idea, I'm gonna be honest. There are some that have. I know there's one called We Were Here. There's like a trilogy of games called We Were Here that does the same thing, which we might try later actually. But yeah, definitely love my friend slop, my co-op slop. Speaking of slop, if you want more Mario Galaxy slop, there's videos on the screen for you. And with that, I'll take my leave. Thanks once again for watching. Be sure to leave a like before you go. Subscribe if you've made it this far already. And until next time, there's your lot.